He will lead in our fight. If you've been called by the Savior, you will surely win. All you have to do is listen. Let your soul take it in. There's no need to worry. There's no need to fear. Give yourself completely, for the Lord is here. Are you ready to trust in the Lord? So get ready.
Kneel in prayer. This is prayer meeting, and maybe it'll help my microphone situation as well. But I want to say a word of thanksgiving to the Lord to be here tonight. And I'm praying. One of the old preachers said that at his age he's glad to be anywhere if it's above ground. But I am thankful to be in the Lord's house tonight. I'm grateful to be in this particular Lord's house tonight. And I'm thankful for all the reasons that I'm here. I'm grateful for that. I know that this is a day that God's given to all of us. And I certainly am going to rejoice and be glad in this day as much as I possibly can. And I think that all things are possible with the Lord. I thank him for his word. I thank him for the health and strength that he's meted out to me. And I thank him for the health and strength he's meted out to you. I thank him for the word he's fertilized in you, that he has caused to lift your life, to buoy your life, to give you strength, to give you the abilities and understanding. I thank you for the power of his word in your life. I thank you, Almighty God, that you brought us all this far. And you've just been a great and a mighty, and you are God. So all the things that we would say about you, they pale in terms of making a clear and distinct, at least advising people of who you are. You're God, and that's enough. You are Lord and Savior. And so it's good to be in this house. I'm glad to be on my knees. And it's just twice today I'm on my knees. This morning I was on my knees, and I'm thankful to be able to come into you and humble myself into your presence. I pray that this meeting tonight would be a meeting of learning, a meeting of growth, a meeting of prayer, a meeting of answered prayer, a meeting of miracles, and a divine understanding of who you are and why we are here. And so we bless you, Lord, for the opportunity to kneel tonight and in your presence, Jesus. Amen. Hallelujah. I want to you can take your seats tonight. I'm going to sit, not because I'm tired or sick or one of those kinds of things, but I'm going to sit because I'm going to sit. I said some time ago, let me get my Bible. I don't want to be found without my sword. I said some time ago in one of the earlier meetings that I was going to sit down, and mainly because I was a bit tired and fatigued. But I'm not either tonight. I simply just want to sit because what I want to do is I want to talk to you about a couple of things. One is that I want to tell you a little bit about our trip this year out west. And so in doing so, rather than being in the preaching mode and all the kind of jumping up and down I generally would do, I could just sit here today and talk to y'all tonight. I have been planning traveling out to the Sierra Nevadas. And last year, between August 28th and the time we left this year, I didn't do a lot of movement around to short vacations or respites that I normally take. I just worked very hard, I thought, last year with a large number of things that we were able to accomplish through our work. And so I was ready to go on vacation. I mean, I was absolutely ready, quite frankly. I was thinking again, today I could be out, I could be on vacation again. I could enjoy that experience all over. But we left here on a Sunday morning, early one Sunday morning, about 9 o'clock or so. And we drove from here to a place called Rossford, Ohio. Now, Rossford is about 70 miles south of Detroit, about the same amount of time west of Cleveland, or maybe a little bit further, 100 or so miles west of Cleveland, and just near the Indiana border. But it's really close to Detroit, Rossford is. And we were able to stay at a hotel there called the Staybridge Inns and Suites. And we arrived there at about 6 o'clock that afternoon, that evening rather. And we checked into what was a 2-bedroom, I only asked for a 1-bedroom suite. And it was two huge bedrooms, 2 huge bathrooms, and a sauna and all that kind of stuff, hot tub. But we ran right out. I asked the person that checked us in where was the nearest Arby's. Want to give me some roast beef or one of those sliders, they be talking about all the time on television, right? So he told me where it was at. So we drove 10, 15 miles. The hotel was almost new, must have been, 2-3 years old. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I got up that morning in Elizabeth, because this place was huge. It was like, huge, big as an apartment. It had a big closet. I think Elizabeth was in one of the closets. She closed the door, was inside one of the closets praying that morning, I believe. Anyway, it had a dining room, a living room, 2 bedrooms, and all that. But it wasn't expensive. It's Staybridge Suites and Hotels, and I've got a kind of thing going with the international hotels business. And we got up that morning and we drove from there to Des Moines, Iowa. And again, another Staybridge Hotel and Suites in Des Moines. And, just the first day out, the second day out, I'm beginning to unwind just a little bit from the New York tensions of the work. I hadn't gotten really loose the way I can get loose. But by the time we get to Des Moines, I'm a little bit more relaxed. Des Moines is a fairly large city. The problem with Des Moines now is that the campaign is going on. In Des Moines, Iowa is the first jump off of the caucuses of the election. So there are a lot of people in Des Moines right now. Even though the candidates are not there now, their staff is there. They've got hundreds of staff people there. Many of the candidates in and out of Des Moines, out of Iowa rather, Des Moines in particular. So the hotel's a little bit more expensive, but another Staybridge Hotel and Suites. And one of the things about this Staybridge, this particular hotel in particular, was they let you have, they serve you a quasi small meal. I think there was some beef there and the dining area and all the beverages you want, drinks, soft drinks, wines, and it's all included in the bill. So we leave Des Moines that morning. And we drive from there, one of the longest days of the drive. And I tried to figure out how to make this drive shorter. From Des Moines, Iowa to Cheyenne, Wyoming. That's a long drive. You first got to leave Iowa, which it takes you forever to get out of Iowa. And from Iowa, then there is Nebraska. And from Nebraska, you finally into but Nebraska itself is a 2-day drive. It's so long of a state. Anyway, we arrived in Cheyenne, and we'd been in Cheyenne. There was a wedding party going on in Cheyenne, and had been going on for a couple of weeks. There were several weddings happening in Cheyenne. I don't know what was going on out there, but the hotels were jam-packed. But because we've stayed at that hotel in Cheyenne so many times, the man gave us a special room this time. Very, very nice room, very special. Their best room in the hotel. Because when we went cross country with y'all, we stayed in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I don't know if y'all remember that. I took a big crowd out there, and every time I go cross country, I hate that drive from Des Moines to. You're out there all day. It's like almost 700 miles in one day. That's a lot of driving. And so we get up that morning, and we have breakfast, and we leave Cheyenne, and we drive to Salt Lake City. By now it's Wednesday morning, and we're on our way to Salt Lake City. And we arrive in Salt Lake City at another Staybridge hotel. So, they've been driving across the desert, across the Bonneville Flats, and between from Utah to Nevada from Nevada to it's just from Wyoming to Utah. There's not a lot to see. So while just a lot of vacant, wide open spaces. But anyway, by the time I get to Salt Lake City, I've got to use the bathroom. But we're in the city now, and my GPS would not let me put in the house number of the hotel. We never stayed at this hotel before, but it told us the street, so it brings me to the street. So I get to the street, it says, "You are now reached your destination." But it ain't the house number, so I don't know where the place is at. So I got to go to the restroom. I don't know where the hotel is at. So we're driving, trying to find the place. And finally, we'll come onto the back end of the hotel, another Staybridge hotel. So we come up on the hotel, and there's a fella out there with a great big old cookout thing, big old brick thing. He was grilled on it. He was cooking hamburgers and hot dogs and everything. So I said to him, he let me in the back door to go into the hotel to register. So I came back out. I asked him, he said, "Yeah, we're doing a cookout tonight." So that night, Captain LaFleur and Precious had the ministry. And so we, but the cookout's for everybody. It's just a public, in the Staybridge Hotel, they kind of do that in the evening, just let you come and eat what you want to eat. There's no extra charge. So they had a big old thing. It was 1,000 Chinese people out there. I don't know what they're doing out there in Utah. They're babies and everything, eating hot dogs. I said, "You ought to go get some chow mein or something, right? Get out of here." Some chop suey maybe. They're eating them hot dogs up. And they just, all the hot dogs you want, all the hamburgers, they had a coleslaw and the pickles and all kinds of tomatoes and dressings and, it was just a fun time. And all the drinks you want. And there's no extra charge for that, the Staybridge. So y'all might want to consider the Staybridge and joining that hotel group. And so we ate, and then finally went upstairs, and we caught a part of LaFleur and what he had to do. We saw that all the children prayed except Isaiah. He wouldn't pray. I don't know why he wouldn't pray. Anyway, we leave Salt Lake City that morning. It's raining to beat the band. And we go, my GPS takes me around Interstate 80, another way to Interstate 80, past the Great Salt Lake, which is just outside of Salt Lake City. Anyway, we get on Interstate 80, and we drive from Salt Lake City into Nevada, and from Nevada past Reno, and we make a left turn on 295 south towards Carson City, and 30 miles south of there is Mount Rose Mountain Highway. We make a right turn on Mount Rose, and we go up Mount Rose, going to Lake Tahoe. Those of y'all who went with me know Mount Rose. You're in Carson City. First you're in Reno, Nevada, then you go from Reno to Carson City. When you go south to Carson City, and from Carson City, then there's Mount Rose Mountain Highway, which is really still Lake Tahoe is 50 miles up the mountain. Now the mountain's not 50 miles high, but the way you go around the mountain, all the various places, it takes you about 50 miles to get from the level area of Carson City. So we go up to on our way to Lake Tahoe, our last stop for the journey. And I remember the first time Elizabeth and I went out to Lake Tahoe. I'd never been there before, and they didn't have GPS, none of that stuff. You looked at a map. That's how you got to where y'all remember those days. And so we drove past. We stopped in Reno and went into one of the gambling joints to ask for direction because I figured I was lost. And the guy told me to go down the highway and this, that, and the other. So I drove past the turnoff where I go to 295 to Carson City and drove down Interstate 80 towards San Francisco. And I ended up in a place called Truckee, California. Out of Nevada into California. And so the fellow said, "Man, listen, you got to turn around, go all the way back another 50 miles back into Reno, back up to Carson City." And it was late at night. And our travel plans weren't as really organized as they are now. But at any rate, we found our way, and then we found our way to Mount Rose Highway. It was late last 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night. And so I was driving up the highway, and I was just tired. And we had driven about 20 miles up the mountain, and still no Lake Tahoe, because I had never seen it. I know what it was like. I had no idea what we were going. All I know is I wanted to go. So I said, look, I'm tired. So we pulled the car over on the side. Now, this is on the mountain. You don't do that because the mountain road is very narrow. You ride here, over here, down, there's a drop 1,000 feet. You don't pull over on the side of the highway. You don't. But I was tired, and driving up that mountain, it was dark. I couldn't see all those curves. I'd never seen anything like that before. I was really tired. Like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning now. We've been driving all day and all night. First time we went out there. So I went to sleep. Elizabeth went to sleep. She opened the run seat. Driver was a passenger. We were sleeping to beat the band. I heard somebody knocking on the window. Bam, 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 bam. So I looked up. Here's this police officer, this big guy, police uniform, a flashlight shining in my face. What you want, man? What you want? He said, what y'all doing? Because he said our car was from New York. He said, what y'all doing? I said, man, I'm trying to find Lake Tahoe. He said, you got to stick out a long way. I said, he said, you can't stay here because somebody's going to run into you and gonna knock you off the road. So I said, I'm tired, man. He said, listen, you try to get up because you might not make it to Lake Tahoe if you sit here any longer. Plus, you're endangering other people. So we drove up to Lake Tahoe. We arrived at the Embassy Suites early that morning. We stayed in the car till time for us to check into the hotel. The reason why I wanted to talk tonight is because I want to share the fact that helping my grandfather, as I told y'all before, driving for him, and then that trip to Florence, South Carolina that I mentioned briefly on Saturday. I was older than 14 then, but he had this beautiful 1955 Buick Special that my uncle, W.J., who had got a job as a teacher, first thing he did was he bought his father a car. He bought him that 19. It was like 8 years old, but he bought a used car. I bought it for him. My grandfather had a stroke, and I was driving it. But I think by the time I drove to Florence, I was at least 15, maybe 16. But something happened to me, and that's what I want to share with y'all tonight. That when I drove in our little old town, there's a place called road called 211. It's a county road. I drove down the county road, and the county road brought us to Interstate 95, this major 4-lane highway, 2 lanes going south, 2 lanes going north, and it's massive, and tracks and trailers and trucks are racing down the highway. I'm 15 years old, maybe 16. The first time in my life I've been on this road. I've never been on this road, and I'm driving a car. But something happened when I got off that small county road and got on that highway. Something happened inside of me. I didn't realize it at the time. But something happened to me. The wideness, and the road looks like it's white. It isn't. It's rock and concrete, and it's wide. And there I'm driving this car on this road, and I'm driving 60 miles an hour, and something just flipped inside of me, and I just fell in love with that. I fell in love with driving. I fell in love with the road. I just fell in love with it. And we made it to Florence, which is, I don't know, about a 3-hour drive from where we were. My people did their due. They went to see the root worker. I sat in the car, listened to the music. They came back with their root worker bag. I drove them back and dropped them off. But that's what happened to me. And ever since then, I love to drive. I love the highway. I just love it. I love stopping at the gas stations. I love driving. I just love it. I love the sound of the wheels on the road. I love the sound of the engine of the car. I love the sound of the wind. I love it. I love it. I just love it. And I'm sorry for dragging y'all across country a couple of years ago, and knowing that probably y'all didn't get the same sound you have saying. But for me, it's just so invigorating. I love going cross country. And that thing that happened to me is what I want to talk about, because there are some things that have been in me that have been dormant for quite some time that the Lord has said to me about releasing. I'm going to try to come to them to talk to you about this new wine that the Lord is talking about. All this talk about new wine. And so this time we arrived in Lake Tahoe. A little cool in Lake Tahoe this year, but I love Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe is the actual lake itself is 8,900 feet above sea level. That's almost 2 miles up in the air. And then of course you got peaks, and there is the ski lift that takes you up to like 12,000 feet at Lake Tahoe. You can get on the ski lift, go say, in the wintertime people ski. One time Elizabeth and I we got on that little thing with the ski lift, and we rode up like 12,000 feet up on the mountain above Lake Tahoe. You can see the whole lake, you can see the whole thing from up there. We didn't do it this year, haven't done it in quite some time. I did it once, that was enough. But it was in Lake Tahoe that the Lord explained to me something that the reason why I go to the mountains and the reason why I do what I do is, and because that's the most exhilarating thing for me, is because the Rocky Mountains are very impressive for me, and the Sierra Nevadas. The Rockies and the Sierra are two different mountain ranges. The Rocky Mountains are in the Utah area, coming down out of Montana. And the Sierra Nevadas, which are more beautiful, more exquisite, coming down out of Washington State and into part of Idaho and into California and Nevada. And those mountains, for me, it's like a continual moving canvas of just artwork. At just the rocks, the formation just bedazzles me. I remember, as an artist, all I can see is like the greatest work of Michelangelo, the greatest work of all the great artists, all happens all at one time, all just coming at. I mean, it's like being in a great museum if you love art. There are people who love art who understand that process. Being in those mountains for me is like being in a museum continually. And it just, when I was out at Mother Dutchin's 85th birthday, I think it was, the other week, one of the things I want to say to her was that there's this song that I remember from the 1960s, I probably listened to when I was driving my grandfather's car, by Steve Lawrence. And the name of the song was A Portrait of My Love. And when I was addressing Mother Dutchins, and I was telling her about Steve Lawrence in 1960, and before I could say to her what the name of the song was, the person who was acting as the DJ of that event yelled it out, Portrait of My Love. Now he's from somewhere in the islands. I don't know if he's from Jamaica or not, but he's from the islands. He doesn't look quite that old, but for him to know instantly that song, first he's into music. He loved music. And as you can see, he presented some beautiful music to us during that event. But he loves music, but not just Jamaican reggae music. He knew that song just like, he yelled it out, it startled me. He said it so quickly. Portrait of My Love. It would take, I know, a Michelangelo, and he would need the glow of dawn that paints the sky above to try and paint a portrait of my love. So what Steve Lawrence does in that song is he says, to try to capture your beauty, you're gonna need more than an easel and a brush. You would need the glow of dawn, and it's just so fascinating. And I never forgot it as a young boy. I was 1960, I must have been, what was I? I must have been 12, 13 years old. Beautiful song. He knows it too, because the song is so beautiful. It's such a work of art. At any rate, the Lord shared with me the reason why I go out there is because I'm a bit of a poet, an artist. And for me to be in the mountains, it's like being in the world's greatest museum and not have to pay a registration fee. And it's intoxicating for me. It's exhilarating. And generally when I go out there, I'm so inspired when I come back I say things that comes from the mountains, or I preach sermons, or I say little things that have happened because of the inspiration. It just takes me so high. And so when I come back, generally people expect that I'm going to say some things that are different, or say some things that are poetic, which I generally am given to do. But it was there that the Lord, because I'd never thought about being a poet. I'd never thought about being an artist, humanitarian, educator. I never thought about that in that regard as the reason why I go out there. But now I understand, and I hope it doesn't take anything away, because I'm drawn to, I can sit in a car for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day driving, because I know ultimately I'm going to get to Lake Tahoe. Ultimately, I'm going to get to the mountains, and it's worth it. As laborious as it is, driving is not really a pain for me, but I know ultimately I'm going to get to those mountains, and it's like a dope addict for me. This is a serious issue for me, very serious. The Lord said to me, the reason why I do it is because it is that I see such beauty in his creation, the beauty that I can't explain, and I never thought that I would. And so my travels, not only that, but not only did something happen to me when I drove my grandfather down to Florence. I wanted to see the world. I lived in a little small town in Captain Far, where y'all went. I didn't move to that part of my town until I was like 13, 14 years old. The rest of my life, or the early years of my life, I lived in that farm area east of the overhead bridge. All that cotton field, all that stuff, y'all, that's where I lived, in that farm region. And I moved from town to place in that little region. And then once we were I was 12, 13 years old, we moved to that little house there, which was inside the city. I was called a country boy. That's the big city, Red Spring, and that ain't bigger than a minute itself. But something stirred in me when I drove with my grandfather to Florence. I thought I wanted to see the world. I thought I did. And I did travel quite a bit before I went into crime. I did. And I traveled a bit even while in crime. But when I came here, I was thinking and thinking and thinking. And then finally, we got to school going. And I said, I'm going to China. And I want to go to China. China's halfway around. China is the other half of the world. It is, the earth is 25,000 miles in circumference. You're traveling 1,000 miles an hour. It'll take you 12 to 14 hours to get to China. I want to go. And I remember when we traveled to China, I remember distinctively that we flew across the North Pole. And I thought to myself, my God, I grew up a farm boy in North Carolina. And here I am with 24 people flying across the North Pole. And they had these little things on the above the seats where you could see where you were all the time as you traveled to China. Finally, we landed. We went across Siberia in Russia. I said, my God, how my world is changing. And landed in Beijing. Last time we traveled, of course, we traveled to South Korea, and then from Korea to China. The last trip we've been on was we left Beijing, and we've not been on board an airline again as a group. We're going to Egypt, but I'll be honest with you, I could have probably managed to get the money to travel to Egypt this time. I'll tell you the truth. Even Captain Sailing came to me. Elder Hartfield gave me $7,000. I said, here, let's go. Captain Sailing came to me and said, I'll give you the rest. The people are generous like that, but I'm just I didn't have it where I needed to have it to go. I'm gonna go, but I didn't have it where, and so I took Elder Hartfield's money. I didn't take Salem's money. I'll take it tonight. I'll get it. Anyway, to Ethiopia, to Rome several times, to England. I think we may have gone to London when I spoke at Oxford University before we went to China. I'm not sure. We did. Elizabeth said we did. We left. We stayed in Lake Tahoe for 4 days, and just had a great time. There's a place in Lake Tahoe, if you ever go, called the Lucky Beaver Restaurant, if you ever go there. Lake Tahoe is in two states. The north state is Nevada, the south state is California. And you can walk right across from California to Nevada. You do it all day long. On the Nevada side, they got the gambling joints. They got Caesars, they've got Harvey's, they've got, the big time gambling joints there. And then in California, the gambling is not legal, so they only have just regular hotels. Anyway, so the Lucky Beaver is in Nevada, which don't make a difference, quite frankly. And I had one of the best steaks I've ever had in my life. I like to eat these steaks, where they age dry them, where they take a steak and they cut it and they put it in a special system that doesn't refrigerate it, but there's no air in the system, and it dries it. It dries all the blood out the steak. And it takes 30 days to dry all the blood and leave just the sinews, just the meat itself. And when they do that and they cook that bad boy aged dry, the flavor is incredible. And I had the best steaks I ever had at Lucky Beaver there. And so we leave Lake Tahoe and we drive down through Death Valley, down through California and into the northern end of Yosemite National Park. And it was in Lake Tahoe that God said to me that I'm an artist, I'm a poet, that's why I go. I'm a junkie. It's about time we get to Lake Tahoe, but we drive south from California to Yosemite National Park, the northern part of it, and just arriving in the northern part of Yosemite, there's incredible mountains, and there's snow still at the mountain peaks, like 14,000 feet high, and you can see great globs of snow still up there, and the temperature on where you are is 90 degrees or 100 degrees, but those mountains are so high up that the snow hasn't melted, and it's absolutely breathtaking. I'd never been to Yosemite before. It is exhilarating. And I was getting high like a junkie on heroin. And it's a long drive, so make sure you use the bathroom. They do have places to stop, but if you're an old man like me, I never pass up a bathroom no matter what. Anyway, we drive past El Capitan down to the south end, a place called Fish Camp. And we stayed at a place called Tenaya Lodge. And it was there in Fish Camp that the Lord said to me that he's coming again, and that he's made me his messenger like the prophets of old. And I'll tell you, there's a far, I don't know if you have it, there's one particular, Elizabeth she's got hours and hours and hours of footage, just video. There's so many things. I just pulled out a few things, but she's got hours of video. Maybe we'll share it sometime. But there's one particular shot she took of me standing with my face towards El Capitan that I call this mountain, the face of God. Now, the thing, and to be honest, because we're going to talk about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Do not be dissuaded, discouraged, or anything else if you're not inspired by mountains. That maybe not be your thing. It may not be your thing. It doesn't have anything to do with you're good or bad. It doesn't make you a bad person that you're not inspired, that you don't feel the same way I do about mountains. Don't say, oh, something's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. It just ain't your thing. It just ain't your thing. And that's what we have to be careful about. Basketball ain't my thing. I said the other day, I wouldn't play golf. I tried it. I can't see any sense of anybody taking a little white ball and what? Why would I want to do? Why would anybody? People love it. It ain't my thing. Anybody play golf? I think you're crazy. I did caddy one time. I was a caddy down in Pinehurst, North Carolina. I was carrying 2 bags. This is before they had the golf carts. This is way back in the years, right? So the guy playing golf, he called me boy. I call him boss. Hey boy, what you think? What you think I should use on this hole? I don't know one hole from the next. You got the woods, you got the 9 irons, you got the irons and the woods and all that in the bag, right? So he asked me what I think I should use. So I look at him. I said, boss, I think you ought to use a 9 iron on this one. I don't know what that. He called me boy, I call him boss. Anyway, but this El Capitan, to me, it's like looking in the face of God. I don't know if you have it, Captain, can put it up. But I'm standing there, and you can see how dwarfed I am by it. It rises nearly a mile high. And Elizabeth just caught that. I had turned around also and looked to God, and I just went off on God. I just stood there and I praised God. I looked into the sun. Maybe it's going to damage my eyes, but I didn't care. The sun was white hot and looked like good globs of fire were jumping from the sun. And I just praised him. This is an awesome mountain. It may not look like very much to you, but God, the majesty. I mean, this is a man's mountain. This is a rock. And this is something, as far as I'm concerned, this El Capitan. And of course, Elizabeth and I, we were rolling around the park. I have a takeover spirit, everybody knows that. So I stopped the car in the middle of the street. I made Elizabeth get out there in the middle of the cars trying to get by. She didn't care about y'all. And I got her standing in the middle. I tried to take a picture of her standing in the middle of the street, and it's so relaxing. And it was there that the Lord said to me that he's coming again. And he's made me a messenger. And I'm going to preach that. It won't help you to understand something. One of the things that I was concerned about, and I'm still concerned about it, and I realize now I got to wait on the Lord, was I'm thinking that why did the Lord wait? Why did he make me wait this long in my life? I mean, I've done poetic things. Remember, I wrote that poem, Days. I've known days when I reached my peak and gone some above, fell way down to my deepest depth, yea, though I retain the capacity to love. When all my troubles beset me, there are pearls and thorns no end. I guess I've known worse days than this one, but I really don't remember when. I wrote that back in the 70s. I've written nearly 200 proverbs of late. But the Lord said that's not the best of me. That the release is now happening. My question was, why is it that the Lord has kept me from doing certain things all these years and now says it's time to release? Why? Why? And I pray somehow or another that some of you may feel the same way, that you've known deep inside that you're supposed to go to the head of the class, but the Lord has kept you back. It isn't that you couldn't, and the devil didn't do it, and you did. God kept you from going to the head of the class, and the reason why he kept you from going to the head of the class is because it wasn't his time, and it wasn't your time. I mean, I could have done the things that I'm going to do years ago, but it wasn't God's time. And it wasn't my time to do them. So what's different about now? Well, it could be any number of things that are different now. But I'm constantly talking to the Lord about that. But I've been saying over the last couple of days, this whole business of the new wine, that God's going to pour new wine into all of us. That we need to go through a process of consecration, sanctification, baptisms, and ordinations so that we can be new vessels for the new wine and the new experience that we're going to have. And I have to trust the Lord to show me. I know this, that in this, I pray does not seem boastful, and if it does, then you'll forgive me. But I've always had poetic thoughts. I've always been, at the very least, I've been able to talk. I've never really had, I wrote that poem Days, but I've really never had a bad day in my life. I really haven't. Now, I've been in prison, obviously, you know about that. And, I've had things happen, but the truth of the matter, when I look and I consider and I survey, I've never had a bad day in my life. Never. Even while in prison, I got royal treatment, except for that night, that guy named Bumsy and George thought they were going, what they thought they were going to do to me. But even it didn't happen. It wasn't a bad day. Working on the chain gang, for me, was not a bad day. I've never been poor, quite frankly. I mean, I've had a lot of bad things happen, but I've never myself had a bad day. It's always been, God has always found a way to make me appreciate every day of my life. So, where do we go from here? What's going to happen to you? And what is my responsibility to teach you? That one of the things I have discovered, and I've been looking at this, is this business of the elect is shocking to people. Being one of the elect. It's shocking to people. People don't know how to deal with that. 90% of the people that listen to me online are men, and 91% of the people that listen to me online are white men. Not racist, but the black man doesn't know what to do with me yet because of Obama. When I came to this house and I began to lead this house from Amsterdam Avenue to the gymnasium to here, all was well until Obama came along. And I stood for Jesus. And we'll talk more about that. But black men have a problem with that. They have a problem with it. So, but white men, on the other hand, have a problem, well, not with the elect, but people are looking at this teaching called the elect, and it's difficult for people. It's difficult. One of the things I want to deal with, and we're going to pray in just a moment, is that I've been an educator all my life. I've been a teacher all my life. You hear me talk. We were down in Dallas. I sit down with people and they bring up conversations, whether the conversations about physics, astrology, or about science, or about politics, or about history, or about philosophy, or about theology. I'm never lost. Mainly because it's something that God did with me that I discovered while I was in Lake Tahoe and Yosemite National Park. Something that God did with me that Steph Curry, and while sports is not something that God ordains, or some of these other guys shoot a basketball that goes right in, drops right in the net, no bank shot. Something God did with me from the day I was born to this present moment. The only thing in this world that I don't understand is something I've chosen not to. I understand to some degree. But there's nothing in this world, whether it's chemistry or whether it's politics or whether it's religion or whether it's philosophy or sciences or music. There's nothing I don't understand. And if I have to explain it, I can tell you exactly what it is. And while I've done some study, when I look at calculus, or if I look at the universe, if I look at the nebulae, for me, it's as simple as basic lessons of learning just basic things. The only thing I don't understand, quite frankly, probably don't want to understand, are computers, mainly because I don't want to. But let me say this, we're going to get ready for the new wine. Get our minds and our bodies ready to see what the Lord will. The Lord is in this house. And I think you know that. I think you understand that. I think everybody else knows it. Even people who don't know, who will not lift their hand to help us. Listen, as an educator, this house, the work that we have done as educators has been accepted by Yale, by Juilliard, by New York University, by Fordham, by Cardozo, by law schools, by St. John's. You know, I marvel at the work that Booker T. Washington did. I thought he did a great job with Tuskegee. But when you understand that the work that we have created has been accepted by these institutions, and that's not the beginning. That's just a small taste of where we're going to go and what we can produce. When we say world leaders, but at least now, and one of the things I want the young people to know, and I have to stay on them, I see Deborah's in the house. I see Leah's in the house. I think Jatira, where's she? Jatira in the house? Jatira's in the house. Being young is almost a curse because it causes you to make so many mistakes in your understanding. But Elder LaFleur and all the teachers, the work we have done has been accepted at Yale, has been accepted at New York University. We have produced what the world touts. I have spoken at Oxford. I've been accepted to speak at Oxford University. And that isn't the best of what we're going to do and what we're going to produce. And we need to understand that that's where we're going to go and where we can go from there. But what is in me and what is also in you, because right now it's not about me, it's about you. When I got on that highway and Farr went to a little town, he went to the little town I lived in, he and Matron and everybody, his family. He drove Highway 211, crossed what we call the overhead bridge, and through Pandas Ford and on to 211 and on to 95. When I got on that highway that day, and my world just opened up, and I have had a hunger for the highways. I've had a hunger, and the Lord is, I remember the first time Elizabeth, I went cross country, I went across an old raggedy car. There's a commercial on television now about used BMWs. And there's his Hammack brother, he's got his girlfriend, he's got his squeeze in the car. And he's driving along in a desolate area, and he's, sounds like something wrong with the car. And he stops the car and he gets out and behind the car. Ain't nothing wrong. He wants to try to impress her that he's a handyman. He knows how to fix things real quick. You might see the commercial. And he gets out and he does something. He gets back and says, I got it all fixed. He's trying to impress her. He's lying to her. And she ought to be aware of it too, by the way. Because he got a lot to get her. She be concerned. Anyway, but we were in Ohio and my muffler came off. When I first went across country, I really had to get out of the car, get underneath that, pull the tailpipe off the metal, put the thing in the other hook, and threw the tailpipe in the ditch and got back in the car. We drove on out to California. What is God going to do with this house? I don't have a prophecy of what he's going to do with each one of your lives in terms of individual. But I do have this, that we're just beginning to live. That when Jesus came and John the Baptizer announced that he was coming and people needed to get ready for him. And the Bible said that all Judea went out and got baptized to get ready for Jesus. The other thing is that he was bringing, as the King of Heaven was coming, and he was getting ready to be the King of Moses, the King is coming. And he's coming again. And what I want to be able to teach to you, and I believe the Lord will let me do it, is that he's going to set in order and demonstrate and magnify our lives. You know, all of you potentially have not reached, and by the way, you don't have to be as old as me to have God actually stop some things from happening in your life. But he's going to release them now. Now is the time to release. Now is the time to have that happen. And it's going to be beautiful. And you'll also discover what about your life that you have not been able to realize. Now, by the way, all this need to give glory to God. Ain't none of this crazy stuff y'all going to do that don't give glory to God. It has to give glory to the Lord. It has to give. When I worked with Elder Hartfield in the Saturday ministry, and when we started taking in men by the hundreds, we took them in by the hundreds. I didn't realize it until Lake Tahoe. The reason why there were no fights, the reason why we were successful at doing that is because the Lord had put a humanitarian spirit in me. And the men who were drug addicts, crack addicts, crackheads, former heroin addicts, welfare chiefs, liars, thieves, cutthroats of every, but when I talked to them, they knew there was something in me that they did not want to violate. And in this house, where all that was going on, we had peace in this house. Not because those men were good. And if anybody talked to them, Obama pulled them out of here. But we had peace because God's made me a humanitarian. Whether you realize it or not, that there's a great love in me that you can't speak. That it would take, I know, a Michelangelo, and he would need the glow of dawn that paints the sky above. That there's a love in me that kept these men all the years they were here. Their wives fell in love with they didn't fall in love sexually, erotically with me. That's not what I'm saying. But they fell in love with me enough to love their husbands. Women who had long since said, I ain't going nowhere near that man, he ain't no good. But they fell in love with what I was saying, and they began to love their husbands and to love their children. The Bible says that's Elijah's job, to turn the hearts of the children back to their fathers. And so our work has just begun. I can't tell you in detail. I do know we're going to do the psalmist classes. I think that's going to help us. It's going to help us also with the music for our church, which is not all that important. It isn't. But it'll help us with understanding development. And I think that'll help us to see some of our errors, the problems of our ways, some of the things that, like that, when I pulled that great big old Buick 55, that 1955 Buick, that thing was huge. It was big as a Rolls Royce. They don't make cars that big no more. It's like a tank. When I pulled that big old car up off of 211 on the 95 and stretched that boy out, the world, something got inside of me that has never left. And after all these years, I love getting on that road. Now I got a decent car. I love getting on that road and driving. I love going to those mountains. I love it. I love writing. I don't know when the next inspiration, I wrote something the other day about the heart. I don't know when the next inspiration will come. I have no idea. All I know is that it is when it does happen, it's just very natural. I believe this. I believe I can show you the way. I believe I can show you the way. Now, but you can only have one voice. You know, one person you listen to one person at a time. But I believe I can show you the way. If we can put students in New York University, we've done that. We can put students in Yale. Get accepted at Yale at the very least. We can get a group of people inspired to be doctors and lawyers out of a community like this, in a situation like this. I can show you the way. I can. And again, I go back and I asked the Lord while I was out on Lake Tahoe, I said, all these years, the things that I look at and I wonder why I didn't do this. Why didn't this happen? Why? And the reason is God wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me do that. So why'd let me go to prison? But he wouldn't let me do it. He wouldn't let me do it. And he's kept me in this house. So I'm thankful to the Lord that, I don't know, you need to find your mountain. Don't get bent out of shape because you don't love the mountain. They could be ugly rocks as far as you're concerned. That's okay. That's okay. They could be ugly rocks. That's fine. El Capitan may not mean nothing to you. That's fine. Don't get hung up on thinking that you got to like that somehow or another you've got to be inspired by that. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. When I do the psalmist classes, I want to give a warning. I got music in my bones. It's in my blood. My blood system is not made up of helium and white corpuscles and red corpuscles. It's made up of quarter notes, half notes, and a beat. And when you got it in your system, there's a song, and we don't want to go through the psalmist, but I want to, because we'll do this over a period of 4 weeks. There's a song that was first performed by the Drifters called On Broadway. It was later performed by this guy who plays the guitar. What is his name? George Benson. He says it's on Broadway. And all you got is one thin dime. But he says, I know I can make it because I can play this here guitar. He knows it. It doesn't matter what the world says. It doesn't matter whether he got any money or not. I know I can make it. Why? Because I can play this guitar. I can play that. That I can do. And if I can do this, I'm going to make it on Broadway. On Broadway. And he's right. And when you got it in you, whether it's art, whether it's humanitarian, whether it's poetry, whether it's education, if you got it in you, can't nobody defeat you. If you got it in you, can't nobody touch you. If you got it in you. If you got it in you, can't nobody touch you. They can hate your living guts. But if you got it in you, can't nobody touch you. They used to say down in North Carolina, where all our school teachers were Hamite teachers. They used to say, boy, get that education. Get that education. Because can't nobody take that from you. They can take your money, they can take your car, but they can't take that education from you. Get that education. And that's what we strove for. We all want to get educated. If you don't have it, can't nobody put it in you. If you ain't got it, don't get mad with me. But what's in this church, can't nobody touch it, I guarantee you. Can't nobody touch this pulpit. Can't nobody touch it. Can't nobody touch it. The best thing to do is try to join it. And try to get some of the benefit. You can't touch this. You can't touch this, MC Hammer. You can't touch this. So we'll see what the Lord will do. I'm still praying about, I sent somebody a note, Bennett, I think it was, put up a thing about the song.
It'll make a junkie say Jesus is Lord. I got a word in my mouth. I got a word in my mouth.
Welcome, everybody, to the Manning Report. I am he, the quintessential American James David Righteous Captain Manning. How is everybody doing? How people doing on the east coast of Florida? Things are not so well down in the Bahamas, the Grand Bahama Islands, the Freeport, Nassau. We certainly want to be mindful of our prayers for the people of Nassau, of the Bahamas, and of course, Hurricane Dorian, whatever. Looks like it's not going to bang up Florida like it potentially could by ripping right across Lake Okeechobee, flying for landing in Palm Beach and Singer Island. Ever been to Singer Island? Ever been to Palm Beach? West Palm Beach. At any rate, Jupiter, Cocoa Island, all those places down up in that Daytona Beach, Boca Raton. Ever been to Boca Raton? I used to hang out down in those places in my bad boy days. And my bad boy days are over, so I don't get a chance to go down in them. I can't afford it. At any rate, we are concerned about Hurricane Dorian. We're going to try to give you some updates on that today as the broadcast. But we first want to get started with this whole battle of this shooting in El Paso. Well, El Paso too, but Odessa. That happened this weekend. This 36-year-old Japheth boy driving, and shooting people. This is talking about drive-by shooting. This boy put I think he's trying to take a page out of the Bloods and the Crips, techniques out there in Los Angeles. Driving and shooting, as in driving by people and shooting. And 7 people are dead. I think it made 8 with him, with the troopers finally taking him down. And so, this whole business of shooting, then El Paso the other day, the guy who drove from Dallas to El Paso and shot up in a Walmart the other day. They remember that guy killed 22 people over there in Texas, and that crippled Governor Abbott, Greg Abbott, signed into law an opportunity for everybody to carry guns. Everybody already in Texas, everybody's lousy with guns down there. Going down there, everybody looks like the Wild Wild West. So many people carrying guns down there in Texas. And now he said you can carry them in churches, in schools, hospitals. This guy, Greg Abbott, is going berserk and that law went into effect just the other day, right after this fella, whatever his name is, I think his name is Atler or something. Atler. I don't know how to pronounce it, don't really care. He's dead anyway. And he killed a whole lot of people. Shot a baby too, 17-month-old baby, a 15-year-old girl, 57-year-old man, driving around like a madman. And I'll tell you one thing, I can say this right now. You can bet your bottom dollar. If a black man did that, if a Hamite brother got in a pickup truck and started shooting white folk, they kill everybody black. They make everybody black pay for that. Imagine a Hamite brother going into a Walmart with an AR-15, right, just shooting indiscriminately at a Walmart. They go get his mama, they get his sister, they'd execute everybody. They put the Klan on him. Everybody be looking for him. They get everybody. Where were you born? What country did you come from? What's your bloodline? They'll do Ancestry.com on that boy if a Hamite brother did that. But these white boys, they do this all the time. Anyway, I want to say this, that I think it's important that we realize now it's time to stop gun sales. The hell with the NRA. The hell with the NRA. The hell with the... come on now. Come on. What is this anyway? That the NRA is so powerful. You go to Sandy Hook, 26 school children, little babies were shot in the head by that idiot up there in Connecticut. And still, you can't even get a universal background check. This don't make no sense. I think this is the sickest thing I've ever seen white people do. Well, I don't know if that takes, because I mean, the Japheth people. Black people have done some sick stuff too. But this is sick. I mean, this is like, you can't get no kind of gun legislation. I mean, they can kill babies. These same NRA freaks talking about my Second Amendment right. Yeah, I got your second. These same NRA freaks run around talking about how bad abortion is. Yet that boy went up there in Sandy Hook and killed all them babies, shot them all in the head, and that's okay. For him, don't you touch my Second Amendment. And they can listen. I think Dave Chappelle said it best. Dave Chappelle said, the only way you're going to get them to put an end to all gun sales in America and to finally stop anybody from having guns is for every black person to register to get one. I guess y'all didn't get that as a joke. No, because, I mean, if all black folk got guns, they're going to say, wait a minute, now we can't have this. But look at what these Japheth boys are doing with these guns. I know many of y'all are NRA people. You just need to get your act together. You just need to get your act together. Because the Second Amendment, actually, I mean, I could parse, I'm no lawyer, but I could parse the Second Amendment to the point. It doesn't mean that everybody, it said for a well-equipped militia. So okay, they said, well, everybody got to have a gun. So when Paul Revere comes riding through town at night and saying the communists are coming or people from Harlem are coming, to Lexington, Kentucky, I say I'm in Alabama, where people from Harlem are coming, everybody can get their guns and they run out there in their boots and their pajamas and stop the people from Harlem. Well, actually, for people from Harlem, come and be a bunch of gay people. And the gays don't carry no guns. Ain't that a scream? Oh, God, Harlem done turned gay. Oh, God, Nassau went funky and Harlem gone gay. Anyway, so, but I'm so seriously, I mean, it's time to stop gun sales. I'm just, forget about the universal background check. Stop the sales altogether. And then, so what about people, because there are already more than, for every American, there's at least 7 guns out there. You got to confiscate them, because they'll keep on selling and trading them, and they keep on shooting. There's enough, listen, there's enough guns, and this is what Japheth people, not black people. Black people got guns too, the Saturday Night Special, and black people shoot people, there's no doubt about it. We saw what went on in Chicago the whole time Obama was president. We've seen what went on in Chicago and Los Angeles with drive-by shit. We know black people got guns, but they ain't got no guns like these Japheth boys. They got, I mean, you talk that. Black people ain't got that. They got little cap pistols. These Japheth boys carry these little great big flamethrowers. I swear, every time I see a Japheth boy, if I'm driving along the highway, and I look at this Japheth boy in a great big old Ram truck, a Dodge Silverado or something, I wonder if he also got a gun. I hear the white boy look at me. I look the other way. Hell, I go run into the police officer. I speed so the police officer can stop me, get me away from this Japheth boy. You probably got a gun in that truck. I swear, I bet you every one of them you see got a gun in the truck. No, listen. No, it's time to stop the gun sales in America. It is. No, it is. Well, then you got to confiscate guns. Do that too. No, I mean, because this don't make no sense. It's killing innocent people. You don't know when it's going to happen to you. You just don't know when it's going to. And it happens in schools. One of the things you can be sure of, though, this is a white people's disease. And then the NRA, here comes Wayne LaPierre, who got this $6 million house down there in Dallas, Texas. The NRA bought this boy a $6 million mansion down there and outside of Dallas. And he went on a shopping spread. Xenia suits out there in Los Angeles, spent $40,000 in one day. He probably didn't get about 5 or 6 suits because some Xenias, those bad boys, cost a lot of money. And Italian suits, right? It don't make him look no better. I don't know why he wear him. He don't look no better. Look at him. Yeah, he's a wing LaPierre. They're running out of money, you know, and so I think that the issue is that I think he's kind of confiscated all that money he bought. The NRA, so you belong to the NRA. This is the kind of house you just bought for Wayne LaPierre. You bought that house for that boy, paying your dues, you know. And then I think his wife travels around with her own group of beauty. His wife, Wayne LaPierre's wife, is she going? They're going to Santa Barbara. They're leaving Dallas and going to Los Angeles or going someplace. She has a private plane just for her cosmetologist people. People fix up her wig and put on that makeup, put that paint on that woman's face, do her nails. They got their own private plane. That's the kind of money that's in there floating around in the NRA. But your dues. No, I think that, and I believe this can be done in a way that, first of all, it needs to be, people need to start standing up in the pulpits. And I don't call these Baptist groups churches anymore because they ain't churches. And then African Methodists ain't churches neither. And just need to reinterpret the NAA, the Second Amendment to the Constitution. That you have a right to bear arms if you belong to a militia. And then I think we ought to legislate who is a militia and who ain't a militia. You know, and if you ain't a militia, then you don't own it. You can't own a gun. You know, and I think police officers ought to be, police officers, they like to shoot too, but police officers drive up, you got to stop. You had to stop this. What's this boy's name anyway? Ator? What is his name? The police officer, the Texas Public Safety Department guy pulled him over and he shot him. Police officers have no idea, this Department of Public Safety trooper, they have no idea who they're stopping. I can tell you, if he's driving a truck and he's white, let him go. Don't stop him, just let him go. Go arrest somebody black. So these white boys will shoot you. But the other thing is that the white police officer stopped the black boy and they shoot them. We got trouble over here. We got real trouble. If the police officer stops the white man in the truck, the white man in the truck shoots the police officer. If the police officer stops the black man, in a BMW, the police officer shoots the man black. Okay, all right, okay. All right. I'm ready to call for the end of gun sales in America. We didn't have it. We went down there, where was it? In Sutherland, Texas, right? And a Baptist church one Sunday morning in Sutherland, Texas, right? In a church. The guy goes in, kills 26 people, point blanks, put a bullet in a baby's head in his mama's arms. In that Baptist church going back a couple of years ago. Y'all remember that? This don't make no sense. I mean, I watched this debate. Universal background check. Universal background check. Here, listen, let me tell y'all something, just in case, pull your coat. In case you don't know, a universal background check ain't gonna stop the criminal if he wants to get a gun. They don't go by the law. You can put all the laws you want. As long as there are guns out there, the criminal's gonna get them. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for a civilized group of people to be this hung up on guns. I mean, what is it with these white boys? They like to take guns everywhere. They went to the moon. They took guns to the moon. What you gonna shoot up there on the moon? They took guns to just in case. Well, what you gonna shoot in the moon? You don't need them. You don't need them. And then they got these flamethrower guns that, everybody knows it. They say, well, these are weapons of war. We need to take these off street. You need to take the 38s and the 45s and the Glock 9s or whatever. You need to take them off street too. But yeah, I'm saying this. Let me tell you something. I'm saying this because I'm not going to hide what's in my heart. That's what I feel. But it ain't going to happen. There ain't no way. Listen, I'm telling you, there is such a gun sickness. I mean, we're talking about sick people in America. And by the way, Trump talking about bringing people in from Norway. It was over there in Norway where that boy went in that camp one day. That white boy went in there, all them white people in that camp over there or in Norway, and shot and killed 71 people, white people, killing white people, white boy killing white people, children in the camp, right? This is the white people's disease. Now you done gone, why you got to, what am I can call you Japheth with your tied tongue, uneducated self. If I say Japheth, you don't know who I'm talking about. I got to go to a whole class to tell you what Japheth is, so I got to use white. What's wrong with saying white people? Well, the way you say white boy make me think you got something up your sleeve. I do. Well, okay, but no, this is, we could talk. Listen, when I remember when I was telling y'all about what was going on in Chicago, they were killing 30 and 40 people a weekend in Chicago, right? You didn't have no problem with that. That's y'all, that's a mentality, But, I think sociologically, I think if a psychiatrist looks at the violence of the two groups, let's say the Hamite people, that's black folk, and the Japheth people, that's the white. The Jewish people, they don't shoot nothing. You ever notice about Jews? I mean, some Jews do carry guns, don't get me wrong. Jews carry law degrees. That's what they do. And they own banks. That's what they do. They redline your butt. They make you wish you hadn't been shot. Anyway, but no, this is something that psychiatrists and sociologists ought to look and discover. You sit down with these boys in Tennessee, right? Say, why you got to have a gun? Well, they're stuck in the amendment to the Constitution. We had a well-formed militia and everybody has the right to carry a gun. And you can't take away my constitutional right to have a weapon. So, I mean, okay, we understand that. It's in the Constitution. But are you a part of a militia? Well, I don't know. Dr. Manning may bring some of the boys out of Harlem now. I ain't been talking about I pick up trucks. He'll bring the boy. He come down. We'll bust a cap on Dr. Manning, and his boys out of Harlem. He come down here. So, is that the reason why you're going? Well, I don't know. You never know. The Russians may be coming. We don't know. Well, I understand that y'all particularly don't like the Jewish people, but Jewish people don't shoot people. They don't care. They don't, they carry law degrees. So who you gonna shoot? Well, so so you can say to them, look at the brother in the face, and say, who y'all shoot? Y'all shoot each other. Y'all actually go out there and shoot each other in schools, and in churches, and in shopping malls. You kill each other. Y'all don't even shoot black people. I mean, it'd be one thing if y'all were shooting black people. We could have understand you're venting your racism. Okay, well, it ain't right, but we can understand. Y'all shoot each other. So we have some sort of a scale where we were looking at the international or national sciences of psychiatrists and psychologists and counselors as to what's the sickest disease, who's the sickest people, in terms of gun violence. You Japheth boys would take y'all would win. You mean y'all would win over Chicago? You would win over Los Angeles and drive by? You would. Because at least, the people shooting one another in Chicago are mad at each other about something. He stole his money, was gambling, drug deals went bad, so he shoot him. His drug deal went bad. Y'all just shoot. You don't even know who you're shooting. You don't even care. Women, children, babies, it don't matter. You just shoot anybody. It's time for this to stop. So forget about this talk about universal background. What the hell is they going to do with anything? When I was in the street, I don't do that no more. I don't do that. But you can check my background all you want. I didn't go to the place where they do background checks to buy guns. And nobody else who wants to be a criminal is going to, So I think over there in London, they don't even let the police officers have guns, the bobbies, right? They carry billy sticks, but they don't carry guns because they don't let them, the people don't have guns. This is really a sickness in America that, and I know a lot of people feel that, but you need to evaluate yourself. Why is it that you got to have a gun? You have a gun now, right? 99% of the people have a gun. What are you gonna do with it? You ever shot anybody? Has your home ever been broken into? Well, just in case. Just in case what? Well, you never know. Okay, so now you're what? You're 75, you're 70 years old, right? How long have you owned a gun? And have you ever had to shoot anybody? Has anybody ever attempted to rob you? Listen, the only reasonable reason any psychiatrist, counselors, psychosociologists, and others would state that everybody ought to be able to bear arms is because the people who now got guns like to kill people indiscriminately. Like this boy, like that boy up there in Dayton, Ohio, or LA, like that boy went over there in San Diego and Sandy Hook and killed them children. Like that boy that went down there in Sutherland, Texas and killed all them people in that church down there in Sutherland. Like that boy that drove out there and killed it up there at the Tree of Life Synagogue and killed them Jews up there in Pittsburgh, like that boy killed down there, people down there in El Paso. The only reason why you need a gun is because of people like that. But if you take all guns, and you ought to be, confiscate them. New York City Police Department, under one of them, I don't know if it was mayor or who it was, somebody, Bloomberg I think it was. Who was mayor before Bloomberg? That they had a gun buyback, right? Was Giuliani? No, it wasn't. It was, yeah, it may have been. They had a gun buyback where they bought all the guns in Harlem. Brownsville, I think they was having a contest to see which part of the black community had more guns. It was a contest between Harlem, Brownsville, East New York, South Bronx. I think Brownsville won. And I think they get like $150 for a gun. Young boys were stealing their father's guns and going to the police, $150, gonna buy myself a new pair of Nikes. Daddy went looking for his gun, they got mad with somebody the other day, went looking for his gun, his son had already sold it to the popo. They've done that in several cities. They ought to do that with white folks. I think you could fix the budget. I think, if there was a gun buyback and down in Tennessee, South Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, and especially Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Louisiana, Florida, it was a gun buyback, it would fix the deficit in the budget. Because these people got more, they just sold that guns are worth more than gold. I'm going on record, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but they know I always tell the truth. And they know I'm the Lord's servant, which is the other thing. That we just need to stop gun sales altogether. It's just, I don't know any of these people that got killed, but I mourn for them. I mourn for their families. And it doesn't make any sense that something as awful that the NRA has got this much more power. Even Tribulation Trump himself. One thing I give Tribulation Trump, and I don't give him much, but I'll give him this. He wants to end gun sales too, but every time he goes up there and talks to that Wayne LaPierre boy and a couple of them other, gun totals in Congress. They tell him if you just forget about a gun, confiscating all guns. He said if you just think about initiating in Congress, you tell Mitch McConnell to initiate a background check, we're gonna cut your presidency off right now at the knees. And Trump backs down. 2 occasions, Trump has said, okay, I'm for universal background checks. And I don't know if that's going to do any good. It isn't. Because criminals don't care about that. Nobody cares about it. He don't care, the criminals. And these boys, these shooters, right? They already got guns. The shooters already, the people who are going to shoot for the next 20 years, all these young Japheth boys that are going to shoot they already got their gun. They don't have the background check. They already got their gun. They already got the ammo. They're already ready. They just didn't decide to start shooting yet.
So a universal background check ain't gonna stop the man that's already armed to the teeth. He got 25 guns in his house. What about that guy out there in Las Vegas the other year? Killed them 50 people and shot over 500 over there, and don't even know why he did it. He was rich. He broke out the window of one of the exclusive hotels and just started shooting. It brought in 2 bags full of guns and just shooting people out there in Los Angeles, Las Vegas the other year. They don't even know why he did it. He said that it's been 5 years, they haven't figured out why he did it. Nobody knows. He just liked to shoot people. I can tell you why he did it. Don't ask him why he did it. It's in the blood system of some of these JC people. They just like to shoot people. Put them out there in a rabbit, run across the field. They can't even shoot a rabbit with a shotgun. By the way, you don't use shotguns on rabbits. I used to shoot a .22 rifle and a shotgun too. 10 gauge, 12 gauge, with a 12 gauge shotgun, 12 gauge, and a 10 gauge too, I think. No, it doesn't make any sense. So this is one of the sickest things about America. But check this out. It's Japheth people sickness, because, again, I am not in any way covering up for all of the people that have been killed by guns by Hamite brothers. So they do shoot, they do kill one another. They kill children too, they do. And one of the things that you Hamite brothers might want to get behind me on this one, because if all guns are confiscated, we ain't gonna have this much time. First, this ain't gonna never happen. All this stuff I'm telling you about ain't gonna never happen. I'm just talking. I know it ain't gonna never happen. I'm just talking. I figure y'all listening, I might as well talk. It ain't gonna never happen. You ain't gonna never become a billionaire. They ain't gonna never confiscate guns. But I would say this, that, a police stop a Hamite brother, right? The popo stop you. Well, you figure he thinks you got a gun, because all black people carry guns, right? It isn't true, but most people think, just like I say, all these Japheth boys in these trucks carry guns. I said, I pull in the gas station, there's a Japheth boy filling up his truck, and the gas, I move on down the line now. I don't know what this boy gonna do. He might have a gun with him or something. But the police feel that same way about all Hamite brothers. If they stop you, they think you got a gun. So if all guns are confiscated, then we won't see so many shootings of Hamite people, right? And that means more Hamite people are gonna live. That means that boy ain't gonna be shot until he's 17, 19, 20 years old. That means he's gonna make more babies. That means he's gonna have more babies. His baby's gonna make grandbabies. His grandbaby's gonna make grandbabies. It'll go overpopulate the earth because we stopped gun sales. Then more black people gonna be born and less black people dying because we stopped gun sales, right? At any rate, I think that seriously, America needs to look at this. And I think fathers and mothers need to sit down with their sons, because most of these people that are shooters are still living at home with their parents at 50 years of age. Most of them, except for that boy out there in Las Vegas the other day. Most of these people are still living at home. So I think a responsible thing for parents to do is say, listen, son, you got to get rid of them guns. Sell them to Dr. Manning up there in Harlem. Listen, son, you can't have them guns in the house, all right? Now, if you're gonna have them guns, and I know where you got them, I know you got them hidden everywhere, I know how many you got, I wanna see every last one of them, and we're gonna sell the guns, and we're gonna send the money to the gourmet breakfast program up there at the Outlaw War Missionary Church. Pastor Manning is gonna use that money from those gun sales to feed them children up there in Harlem. That's what we're gonna do. Man, listen, if that had really happened and people start saying, okay, the purpose for selling our guns will be to send the money to the gourmet breakfast program up there at the Outlaw Church in Harlem, so feed them children every morning. They come, all them school children come in that building, we can feed them. That would be a good and a noble cause. It would be. And I could feed a whole lot of children for that gun money. I could feed a whole lot of children. Because some of them guns cost $4,000 and $5,000, especially them flamethrowers. They call them AR-15. Those things are flamethrowers. So I'm suggesting that would take place. And parents, if your son is living in your house, they got all them guns in his bedroom, there's something wrong with you. You know, there's something wrong with you. I believe that when if they arrest the boy, they ought to arrest the parents too, as conspirators and co-conspirators to the mass killings. Well, this has got to stop. And you people that believe that somehow or another that the NRA is some sort of God-given righteous group, you know, it's just a few people out there promoting that this is so significant, and the militia is and that the right to bear arms. And so there's a few people out there promoting, and they got plenty of money. They're spending plenty of money promoting this myth. It's not necessary, and even if it were, it's so. I mean, reasonable, logical, humane people would say, wait a minute. The bad about this outweighs the good, and the good is suffering because of the bad of this. And if I vote against the NRA and the NRA people can save one precious life, I'm talking to you now, because you NRA died in the war, right? You NRA, and you mad at me now because I'm saying all gun sales need to stop. But think about this for just a second. Think about this for just a second. If you would stand up and say, to hell with the NRA, all gun sales need to stop, if that you standing up and save one life of a father that can raise his children and his grandchildren, he will not be shot down. Or a 5-year-old little redhead boy, red hair, 5 years old, went to school that day looking to have fun with his friends, with his red hair. He went to school that day looking to have fun and just loves to go to school. His teacher likes him as the pet. He's only 5 years old. He went to school and a man and somebody came in and shot him in the head. Would you stop? Would you give up guns to save that one boy's life? Or would you say it's worth it for him to die so you can keep being a member of the NRA? Would you? Do you think that boy's life is worth more than your supporting of the NRA and these crooks that run the NRA? Now, come on. And all these gun freaks. Isn't that redhead little boy who went to school that day to have fun with his friend? Isn't his life more important than that malarkey? You talk about a right to bear arms. Don't you think that boy's life, he has the right to live more than his right to live is more important than your right to bear arms? I mean, come on, let's get real about this. What the hell are y'all talking about out there? What the hell is it with y'all? What is it with y'all? I mean, how inhumane can y'all be? A 17-month-old baby was shot by this freak out there in Odessa, and a 15-year-old girl was 15 years old, dead, because you say, we got my Second Amendment right. Your Second Amendment right shouldn't mean that people should lose their lives indiscriminately. What the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Your value system is twisted. You think like a bunch of savages. Well, I got it. And then the other thing is, this is the real sick thing. So you say, well, I need a gun just in case somebody breaks into my house. Okay. I need a gun just in case somebody tries to rob me. Okay, all right. But why the hell do you need 15 guns? All you need is one. Why you got 15? And you got flamethrowers in your house as well. You got all kinds of guns. If you're going to stop one robber, why do you need 15 guns? Sick. 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 So white people sickness too. You don't need an AR-15, 12-gauge shotgun, 45s, Glock 9s, all that stop somebody who's going to break into your house. You're lying. You're sick. And you need to go see a psychiatrist. You NRA, and you got a problem. You need to talk to Jesus. That's what you need. You need to talk to Jesus. I'm going to tell you, that redhead boy, that little boy with that red hair, who had that bullet rip half of his head off of him up there in Sandy Hook, Jesus loved that boy. And you could stand up and say, well, I didn't pull the trigger, but I didn't give that boy who pulled the trigger the right to pull the trigger. His right to have a gun. You need to think about that. Meanwhile, Wayne LaPierre living in a $6 million house out there, and his wife, her beautician, flies around in a private plane. And hell, you can't get on the bus. You're scraping up money to buy gas. And Wayne LaPierre's wife, on your dues, is flying around not forget about her cosmetologist, her makeup person is flying around in a private jet, living in the suites of the hotels, just so you put that makeup on that witch. And what she got to do with anything? She ain't the president of the NAACP. I mean, the NAACP. What the hell am I, the NAACP? The NRA. This is sick. It's white people sickness, I'll tell you that. There you go, racist again. Why can't you just, I mean, you know, if I say black people, I'm okay, right? Everything's good, it's all good, it's all good. If I say black people, I say white people, all of a sudden you gonna get your feathers and your panties all in a bunch. What's wrong with you? I say, well, stop gun sales. I think it'll stop young black boys from getting shot by the police. Popo stop and say he ain't got no gun, because all the guns have been sold. He can live, have babies, as babies have grandbabies, and then overpopulate the earth. And then we'll all die from starvation because there ain't no food. At any rate, everybody, it's time to end this gun business in America, and let's get on to something more humane. I'm James David Manning, everybody. Hate me if you like, but I'm the Lord's servant, and don't you ever forget it. That's what God said. That's what God said. That's what God said. That's what God said.
My name is Adam, and I have acute B-cell lymphoblastic leukemia. It's a disease of the blood.
Adam is a patient at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Miss Dale, she works here to save my life, and all these people do.
For more than 50 years, St. Jude has been dedicated to finding cures for children fighting cancer. St. Jude developed a treatment plan that is saving the lives of children with Adam's type of leukemia. But shortly after Adam arrived at St. Jude, his doctors made a startling discovery.
They discovered that Adam's severely allergic to the drug that they normally use.
Doctors at St. Jude have a new plan. It's Adam's best hope for survival. This drug costs between $25,000 and $30,000 a dose, and Adam will need more than 70 doses.
If they didn't have this drug, he would be here.
But his family will never receive a bill from St. Jude. Not for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because we believe all a family should worry about is helping their child live. That's why we need you to become a partner in hope with a gift of just $19 a month.
Without hope, you don't have anything. You have to have that hope.
I didn't think in the beginning that I would get another year.
You worry every day about if, your child's going to make it.
Every minute counts when you're battling cancer.
It can happen to you. It can happen to anybody that you love.
I have so much more life to live.
Please call or go online right now.
All right, so we've been watching over the last few days this hurricane that's ripping across the Caribbean Sea. It missed Puerto Rico. Thank God for that. I love Puerto Rico. I was down there, Bayamon, Caguas, San Juan. I spent some time down there studying the church in Puerto Rico, the Catholic church in Latin America, and had some good times down there in Puerto Rico, eating guava and rice and beans and doing all kinds of things, Puerto Rican type of stuff down there, guacamole, and sitting right there on San Juan and down the Atlantic Ocean. It was coming down there. When I was in Puerto Rico, It was in the January, and a big snowstorm hit New York, like 12 feet of snow, 7 feet of snow hit New York, right? I'm sitting there in a pair of short pants in Puerto Rico and reading the newspaper, daily news, all that snow up here in New York. Anyway, but it has hit the Bahamas, and the report so far is that 5 people are dead. I suspect that this storm has been just sitting over the Bahamas, the Grand Isle of Bahamas, for like the last 36 hours. I don't know if it has moved with wind up to 140 miles per hour, wind gusts up to 175 miles per hour. And the surge, the storm surge and the flooding there in Bahamas, the governor of Bahamas said this was a historic tragedy that has taken place in the Bahamas because the storm just sat there, it didn't move. I don't know if it has moved as of my reporting. And you know, my heart goes out to the people in the Bahamas, there in the islands. And we don't. They are forecasting and prognosticating that the storm is going to turn and go north. That is not going to hit, the peninsula of Florida dead on. It will create a lot of storm surge. If it moved, it was moving like at one point like 7 miles per hour, then 11 miles per hour. Then as it came over the Bahamas, it just sat there for a day and didn't move at the eye. That storm didn't move at all. And so we'll have to see exactly if it moves north, and we're going to get a lot of rain up here in New York. They'll get hit down in North Carolina. You know, I was raised up in Robeson County, about 50 miles inland from the Atlantic Ocean. So when the hurricane seasons come, we feel the brunt of it in a real powerful way. 50 miles inland, we're not right on the shore, but we felt that, in fact, it was probably a little less than 50 miles inland where grew up in North Carolina. So it'll go up through there, and in Wilmington, I got relatives in Wilmington. And I've been out on the barrier islands up at Cape Hatteras. I've been out on those islands, and and there's Jacksonville and Georgia and Charleston. All those places get hit. I remember when Hugo hit Charleston, it was a drama. But these hurricanes are the act of God. I hope y'all know that and don't get bent out of shape by them. And I said the same thing about Katrina. I call it the blessing waters of God. It's the way God replenished the islands with fresh water with these hurricanes. But now they're becoming more intense, and not so much because of global warming, but they're becoming more intense because God is weaponizing these hurricanes. And he's going to, if you think this is something, wait till God starts weaponizing earthquakes. Down there in Brazil, they were down there burning the rainforest going back a week or so ago. I think they were able to get that governor down there, the president of Brazil, this newly elected idiot down there, to stop burning the rainforest to make way for, farmlands and grazing lands. And the smoke was stifling all over the airplane. 2,000 miles in Sao Paulo, the sky was blackened by there was so much smoke. There was over 11,000 fires burning at one time as they was burning the rainforest there. And that rainforest is considered to be the lungs of the earth because it produces it cleans the air of all carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. And Trump and his boys, all the land that has been considered, parkland and land that has been considered a part of the ecosystem, the environmental system, Trump and his boys are deregulating all that land, allowing now mining to go in. They're up there in Alaska now trying to do the same thing with the great forests up there in Alaska. They're looking for money, and they're looking to dig for gold and oil, and now they're letting the pipeline go through. I mean, they're destroying the environment. And, if you go out to the mountains out there, like I like to go out there every year, I like the natural places of Glacier National Park, the Sierra Nevada Mountains and the Rocky Mountains. They want to, all those that parkland out there, most of it consecrated parkland by President Theodore Roosevelt. He and the boy in the Rough Riders, y'all remember him. And now they want to undo all that parkland so that they can make more money. But I can tell you this, you wait, you think these hurricanes are bad, wait till these earthquakes start happening. And you can't run from them. God says, and it won't be long now, my friend. You can look around before you can turn around. We're going to see earthquakes here and coastlines falling away. People dying, wars and rumors of wars. All this is coming. That's what the Bible says. And what the Bible says, that ain't what the prognosticators said. That ain't what the environmentalists said. That's not what the global warming people are saying. Jesus said this long before there was anything known about global warming. Jesus said there are going to be earthquakes in diverse places. Then there are going to be famines. People are going to be migrating to, looking for food, scrounging through garbage cans. God's going to use famines to kill people. A lot of people say that God didn't say that, but he did. God's going to use famines, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, and pestilence to kill people. That God's going to, so that ain't the kind of God. God's a God of love. He loves it. God ain't going to kill people with hurricanes and with earthquakes. God's going to kill people with famine. Going to be Biafras all over Texas. That's right, up in Minnesota, Wisconsin. There'll be people pot-bellied, they're hungry, can't eat, ain't had no food. Robbing and stealing. And anybody who's got food, there's this fella out there one time selling this freeze-dried. I ain't heard nothing from him recently. I can't listen to that stuff when all that freeze-dried propaganda was sold in the first place. All this freeze-dried food. The other thing is that if that was the case, and people had freeze-dried, right, then they were building these bunkers, digging down in the earth and building bunkers, putting guns and freeze-dried down there. All it takes for one guy to come with a C4 package and blow you up and take all your food. So I'm glad you stored it up for me and my family. But seriously here, this business of the hurricane is now presently, and we're now in the hurricane season. My prayers go out to those people that perhaps have died and then people loss of life in the Bahamas. I do want to express my sense of humanities towards them, and pray for them as well. I don't know who they are. They might be a Trump supporter. I don't know. But you understand. All right, let's change the. What I thought was horrific was this boat, this called the Concepcion, out there off the coast of Santa Cruz. Was it Santa Cruz, Santa Cruz, out there in Los Angeles, out there. That went down Saturday night, that caught on fire. That was horrific, because the people were trapped down in the bunk area, in the sleeping area of that boat. So it was some sort of a dive boat, I think, where people. I was going to take one of those boats. Elizabeth and I were going to take one of those boats and go out to, I think, those islands out there off the coast of Los Angeles. We planned to do that a couple of years ago. I never got it done. It cost too much money for one reason. It did. That's what stopped me. I thought, like a ferry or something. Now, they want like $75, $80 or something to ride that boat to the island off the coast of Los Angeles, off the coast of Ventura, California, rather. But anyway, this was a horrific scene. Imagine being caught down people were sleeping. The report said people were sleeping when the boat caught fire, and they were locked inside of the downstairs, and they couldn't get out. Imagine the horror. That's hell magnified. And that fire was burning, and people were dying and screaming. And the crew, I got some questions about the crew. 5 members of the crew jumped off the boat, including the captain. The captain ain't supposed to jump off the boat. He ain't supposed to jump. He's supposed to go out and rescue the people. I think there ought to be some questions about that captain and about his crew. Because somebody said that the door was locked and the people couldn't get out. That don't make no sense. Why you lock a door, in the sleeping area? You're not in Harlem, you're not in Bed-Stuy, so why you gotta lock the door? You lock the doors. Why you gotta lock the doors? So, but why did the captain jump off the boat? Why did the captain jump? And then they say the boat sank in 64 feet of water, 20 miles off the coast of Santa Cruz. I just think that this is a tragic event. People suffocated, burned to death, and couldn't get out. That must have been hell on wheels. That happened. But I think this captain ought to be called, and the owner of that boat ought to be called into question to find out why this took place. And what were they, why did the fire happen? And why did the captain jump off the boat? To me, that doesn't seem like the kind of thing that an honorable person would do. But that's tragic. So you got a lot of tragic things happening this weekend. You know, the biggest tragedy, of course, is the fact that Tribulation Trump was out there playing golf. I understand why he plays golf in the middle of the, you know, the Bible, not the, why he keeps saying the Bible, Pastor man. You know, historians say that Nero, by the way, if you have been to Nero's restaurant down at Caesars, you're going to have a great time. The Bible said, historians said that Nero fiddled while Rome burned, right? And Tribulation Trump was playing golf yesterday while Hurricane Dorian was whacking. Look at that boy's stomach. My God, was he 9 months pregnant? He's lucky he's carrying twins. My God, look at that boy. But Trump was playing golf yesterday while Hurricane Dorian was whacking the islands. You're not supposed to do that because it demonstrates a sense of that you don't really care. But I know why he did it, and I don't hold it against him because he's under a lot of pressure. I don't play golf, but they tell me, I used to be a caddy though I was in North Carolina. I used to eat I would caddy for these guys. I carried 2 bags, right? This thing was heavy as I don't know what. Anyway, you get paid twice to carry two bags. And then they stop in and buy you boiled eggs, right? I used to like to eat those boiled eggs fresh. The grass was green, it smells good. In Pinehurst, North Carolina, it's a caddy. Make a lot of money too, by the way, as a caddy. I said, Pastor man, you've done a little bit of everything. No, I have. I'm a shoe shine boy, drive my grandfather bootlegging. I was a caddy. I done lost stuff. I had to live. How do you think I made it to where I'm at now? It's in North Carolina, it was Jim Crow. It was poor people's time, poor than poor. Anyway, I understand why Trump plays golf though, because he's so, you know, that boy got so much stuff because he either play golf or commit suicide. Which would you rather, quite frankly? Either Trump gonna play golf. It doesn't matter how treacherous situations are going on in the world. Trump has, if he get on that golf, how many days he's been president, he has been on the golf course 227 days he's been out on the golf course. That's almost a year on the golf course alone. I understand why he's doing it though. I mean, I understand that, you know, he's under a lot of pressure and a lot of people say that golf is very relaxing. It didn't relax me. I don't play the stuff. I ain't got no time swinging no stick at the little white ball, you know. I don't see no sense in that. I don't see no sense at all. You put a ball on a little white stick, right? Little stick, right? You put the ball on the stick, on a little white, and you stick it in the ground, right? Then you back up, you wiggle your behind 2 times, and then you swing the stick and you hit the ball across the dog leg. That don't make no sense to me. I swear. I'm serious. I'm not trying to be funny. I have no idea why anybody on their right mind would want to do something as meaningless as that. But a lot of people love it. I mean, a lot of people love it. And a lot of people think it's cathartic that you go out there and it's like going to see a psychiatrist. Give me a bottle of wine, I'm just as good. Anyway, so I think that Joe Biden is not ready to run against Trump. I don't think what's wrong with Joe Biden? He was over there telling a story. He was telling a story about some fellow who said he didn't want him to pin the Medal of Honor on him or something like that. And he was telling out the wrong guy in Afghanistan. He was, you know, I don't think he was lying. I think it's just, and Biden's not that old. You know, he ain't that old. But I don't know if he's ready to be president. A lot of people, and I don't like Biden, quite frankly. If you ask me, you say, Pastor, we didn't ask you whether you like him or not. Well, I usually tell people, I usually tell you who I like and I don't like. You're used to that, right? You want to hear that. But I don't think that, I mean, Biden is supported mainly by Hamite people, old Hamite people, everybody over 50 years old who thought that Obama was God. They still think, a lot of people still think that Obama was Jesus. A lot of people still think it. And so because Biden was with Obama, that's why these people down there in South Carolina, all these Hamite people over 50 years of age, they want, and they have the controlling vote, and they have the power to be able to put Biden back in office again. But I don't think Biden's ready to handle Tribulation Trump. But anybody can beat Trump though. Anybody can beat Trump. The fellow said that if a Trump supporter, he said if Trump loses, he's gonna vote for the homosexual guy. And they said, "Oh, you mean Pete Buttigieg?" He said, "No, Mike Pence." Okay. All right. Let's take a break. I think we deserve a break after this. No, it ain't gonna take no break. Thank you for listening to the broadcast today. I pray that I didn't inflict myself upon you too much today. I did intend to inflict myself. It was my intent. And every time I say I pray, I will not inflict myself. That means I'm going to stop inflicting myself upon you. So I intended to inflict myself upon you today. Now, I need to let you know that we got a large number of things happening at the Outlaw War Missionary Church. We're very excited. And I had one of our media people remove a very disgruntled old member. Well, I let him stay on for a while. I let him run his mouth for a while. I think he just won't listen to me every day. He's been out of the church now for about 4 or 5 years. He chimed back in. He's a Trump supporter now, right? So I let him stay because I figured, well, okay, if he's still listening to me, that's his problem. That ain't my problem. But he always got ugly things to say after he listens. My thing is, why you even listen to me? If you think I'm all that, why are you listening? What you doing wasting 2 hours? I mean, I was preaching. I've been preaching for 2 hours. By the way, I don't mean to apologize to anybody. I certainly don't mean to disrupt the Holy Ghost. But for the last couple of Sabbaths, I've been preaching 2 hours. I don't know if I'm going to do that every Saturday. It is not my intent. I'm constrained by the Holy Ghost. Anyway, this guy listened to me preach for 2 hours. After 2 hours, he listened to me preach. Then he started saying ugly things. I mean, why would you listen to somebody for 2 hours if you don't like them? I mean, I don't listen to Elizabeth for 2 hours. And I love her. Well, after about 4 or 5 minutes, okay, I got to go. I got to go. I got to go. I'm going somewhere. Anyway, so I had this guy removed. But here, my thing is this: I said, listen, these guys are still listening to me. So maybe you're one of the persons that you can't contact me anymore because I dumped you several years ago, or you dumped me, or we've been having bad spirit, right? I understand that. But I'm the Lord's servant. I'm the Lord's servant. And I'm telling the truth. You know that, right? So that's why you still listen. Okay, all right. You might want to reunite. I don't know if that's possible. Mainly because the Lord is starting something. It may have been possible a couple of months ago, but the Lord is starting something new in our ministry now called New Wine. But you can always keep listening and see what the Lord will do. And you can send an offering. You can always do that. Send a peace offering. And if you do that, at least you're carrying your own weight. Because the other thing I know and I know doggone well you know this, that when you were bringing your tithes and offerings to the church, God was blessing you with your nappy head self. And you know it. And you ain't never been to find, been out there and you can't find no church you can't find no pastor like Pastor Manny. You can't find no church like Outlaw. You can't find no place where love and the Spirit of God, and you've been looking all over, went over there, you even started listening to Joyce Meyer for crying out loud, trying to find something. Can't find nothing. You didn't visit this church, that church. You left and you joined some other church, went on to join some hillbillies church down there, and there ain't nothing going on there. Guy playing the guitar and chewing tobacco. But he ain't Pastor Manning. Hey, dude, you ain't found nothing. And some of y'all, it's been years, and you've never felt as good about any church as you did when you were here at Outlaw. Huh? Well, you got to admit that to yourself, right? You say, well, I mean, if it's the shoe fit, wear it. It's the truth. It's the truth. Then start sending an offering. Right? support the church, right? Support me. Pray for me. By the way, Joseph Marsh is getting ready. Well, I'm going to tell him to go ahead and he's going to do some stuff on Facebook because these Facebook people, you know, at any rate, we'll discuss that offline. I don't want to get online with this. But I do want to tell you we've got some worship services going on. You make sure you log on to everything. And you need to send me your information just in the event that somehow or another I get excommunicated from Facebook or something. I can always tell you where I'm going to be. I'm thinking about going to just radio broadcasting where I can play my music again and tell my jokes and say what I want to say. You know, because I did it years ago. That's when I first got started, and I enjoyed that. Now I can't deal with Bob Jackson. I can't have Bob Jackson write nothing for me no more.
Let's get close to the Lord. Oh yeah. Let's get close to the Lord. Oh yeah. Living life from day to day, we so busy, lose our way, feeling it. Makes my world go round, set my feet on hold.
Welcome everybody to the Manning Report. I am he, the quintessential American, Captain James David Righteous Rebel Manning. How's everybody doing? Well, we're at the back end of the summer, getting ready to try to make his exit, and fall's going to try to jump all over every place up here in the Big Apple, but we still got a few more days. 86 degrees, possibly 87 degrees today, the Big Apple. That's July weather, man. So at any rate, we got a lot of things to cover. That Hurricane Dorian is still kicking up a lot of wind and rain, and you know, storm surge is down there on the east coast of Florida, the peninsula. Devastated what it did with Arabico Island and Grand Turks and Bahamas. It's just, I fear there's probably going to be a lot of people that didn't make it through that flood, and 2 days where that hurricane just fell asleep and didn't move. It just winds up to 180 to 200 miles per hour. And so our prayers go out to the families and friends and everybody down there in the Bahamas. We do pray for you, and we want you to know that. And prayers is what we believe is what's necessary. But the other thing is that it ain't over with yet. It may head up there in North Carolina, up there where I live. I live pretty close to the coast. When I grew up, first 18 years of my life here in North Carolina, my uncles and everybody live up there in Wilmington, and so it ain't over with yet, and so we're you know, but it's the Lord's storm. It ain't my storm. It's God's storm. We gotta let the Lord do His work, do what it is He's gonna do. All right, let's get started with broadcast day. All right, Kamala Harris ain't black. All right, that's what this rapper. His name is Luke Campbell, former Two Live Crew frontman, an original bad boy of hip hop, said that Kamala Harris ain't black, and said that she was shamming, and that she's married to a white dude, and her mama's a Caucasian. Now, you know her mama's Indian, but the Ku Klux Klan and this brother that called the Turner Diaries wrote and did a study, anatomical study, and I suppose generational study of the Indian people, and said that the original Indian people came from the Caucasoid Mountains, and that some of the Indians were Caucasians. That's what the Turner Diaries, if you're getting into the Ku Klux Klan thing, you ought to get into it and read it, find out, so you won't be so blind about everything all the time. Said that Kamala Harris's mama was a Caucasian. Now they've infused a lot of their blood. The Caucasian Indians over there in Punjab land have infused a lot of their blood with the Hamites and with the Canaanites, and that they're now mainly just black people. But no, so her mama is white, and she's married to a white man. So this rapper Luke Campbell fired off on Kamala Harris and said she wasn't black. And so here she married a white man, and then he went on to say that she played the mayor, the former mayor of San Francisco, Mayor Willie Brown, who I always believed was gay. I never thought Willie Brown was straight. He talked gay, he looked gay. And I think she played him to get to grow up in politics, to become an attorney general for the state of California. I want to tell you something also, that black people are the most racist people on planet Earth, and I'm going to flesh that out for you. And the thing I'm concerned about is that Luke Campbell said this about Kamala Harris. He stomped down right. She ain't black. She's shamming. She's using blackness. Her mama ain't black. Her husband ain't black. And she's using blackness to try to win the presidency, which is the same thing that Barack Hussein Obama, and that's where I want to go today. Obama ain't black either. And Obama is slicking around here now with, after he done had 4 years of the presidency, and he became president, running that he's black. But he ain't black. His mama was white. The same way Kamala Harris ain't black. But Kamala Harris has doubled down on it. Not only is her mama white, but she married a white man. And you ask what's wrong with the brothers? Why couldn't you marry a brother? What's wrong? Brothers can't get why you go looking over yonder for, and but then you say, well, Pastor man, you're a racist. No, let me tell you something. I'm not a racist. I'm just telling you the woman married to a white man. I didn't marry her. I didn't tell her to marry him. But I would say something to you about black people, how racist black people are. Because Obama wasn't black either. So I want to know why Luke Campbell, Jay-Z, and all these other rappers didn't point out that Obama wasn't black. His mama's white. He got a white mama. Her name was Stanley Ann Dunham. His mama, Miss Ann. His mama was white. And the Jews will tell you, and the Bible will back it up. If your mama's white, you white. Your mama's baby, daddy's maybe. If the Bible will tell you, if your mama white, you white. That's just all there is to it. Don't care who the daddy is. If your mama white, Obama's white. And he played the black card. And I'll tell you something else as well about racist black people. I'll tell you one other thing about these racist black people. Everybody knew Obama when he started running, as he was a senator out there from Illinois. Threw his hat in the ring, and Hillary Clinton was on her way to becoming, the first woman president. And Bill Clinton, who was the first black president, asked Toni Morrison, asked Maya Angelou, asked Angela Davis, asked, Michael Eric Dyson, asked all these people, right? They will tell you, it's all in the history books, that Bill Clinton, back at the start of 1992, I think it was, 94, was the first black president. That Bill Clinton did more for black, that Bill Clinton was blacker than Sammy Davis Jr., that Bill Clinton was the blackest president that black people ever, and everybody accepted it. Everybody just went along with it because everybody believed it. Bill Clinton did things, talked black, hung out with black people, ate pork chops, and knew what chitlin was. Bill Clinton down there in Arkansas. And black people loved Bill Clinton. I mean, they loved him. Moved up here to Harlem. He moved the office up here in Harlem, so he's going to have his headquarters up here in Harlem at the C.A. Vincent building. Bill Clinton, and then his wife, Hillary Clinton, I'm showing you how racist I'm going to tell you something. Black people is phonier than a $3 bill and a quarter. Or a 23-cent piece. Black people, the most racist people, I'm hypocrites. Black people. Black people should never call nobody racist. They should take down that Black Lives Matter business that they're doing. They're the biggest hypocrites. And let me tell you what I mean by that. First of all, Kamala Harris ain't black. I'm glad Luke Campbell said it. But you're going to hear me say a little bit later on, somebody got the boy to change his mind. But Luke Campbell can change his mind and turn it into a about face on Kamala Harris all they want. He can't change the fact that woman married to a white man and her mama's white. But somebody told him, don't do that because it's going. The reason why Luke Campbell went ahead and had a private telephone conversation with Kamala Harris. It wasn't because Kamala Harris called him or he called her, but the black racists and the NAACP and the Urban League and all these black Democrats got together and said, listen, Luke, because you got a big name. Luke, if you run around here and start pointing out the truth, which is the truth, that Kamala Harris ain't black, somebody gonna figure out that hell, Obama wasn't black either. Now, you're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do, Luke Campbell. Because if you keep persisting with the truth that Kamala Harris ain't black, somebody gonna get smart enough to figure out that Obama ain't black. We still ain't had no black president. We still ain't had no, hell, I'm gonna run for president. But the first time you're gonna have one gonna be me. Obama ain't black, and they're gonna figure it out. So they told Luke Campbell, man, slow down on this one. Take us, slow down, because we ain't asked you to change your opinion or morality or your ethics or nothing. But Luke, if you keep pointing out the truth that Kamala Harris ain't black, everybody gonna know that Obama ain't black either. So what's up? Yeah, we ain't had no black president yet. We ain't had no black president. We ain't had no woman president. All the presidents have been rednecks. Well, maybe not rednecks, but So, but let me tell y'all about these racist black people, especially these one that joined these I call them pensionados Negroes. They talk like this, and black people got big lips. That's just all they do. There ain't not more lips to kiss you with, baby. That's all. More lips to cool the soup with. That's all. There's nothing wrong with it. I got more lips. White people got longer hair. What do you want me to do? So black people got these big lips. So when the air flows over the black, the man talking on the phone, you can't see his face. You know he's black because the way that his voice sounds black, because he got big lips. But so black folk, right, who don't want to seem black, right, who want to be white like Kamala Harris, they talk like this, and it's reasonably understood that the reasonable and reasonable, and their systematic racism has been a part of the entire process since the Dixiecrats. They pinch their nose so they sound white. Anyway, so Hillary Clinton was running for president. All black people were with her. Everybody black was with her. Everybody black was with her till Obama announced his presidency. And Lord have mercy. I'm going to tell you something. Don't trust black people either. I mean, they dumped that girl like she stole something from their grandmama. They dumped Hillary Clinton. A little black girl spit on Bill Clinton down there in South Carolina. And South Carolina is the bellwether state. South Carolina is the state that say which way black people are going to vote, right? Bill Clinton went down there to campaign for Hillary, and a little black girl spit on. Of course, a black girl spit on me too. Anyway, they dumped Hillary Clinton, who was the wife of the first black president. We still have not had a black president yet. Y'all can run around here and do the Smithsonian thing and write the history books and go up there to all these libraries and County Cullen and all that kind of stuff. But we still ain't had no black president. Hell no. We still ain't had no black. Obama ain't black. His mama's white. The Bible says he ain't black. And Luke Campbell got it right and said that Kamala Harris ain't white, ain't black either. And they told him to chill. Kamala Harris ain't gonna be president, but you fool around here, you're gonna wake people up to the fact that Obama ain't black either. Then we're gonna have to rewrite, we have to revisionists, got to rewrite history because we ain't had no black president yet. I'm gonna run for president. It'll be probably the first time you'll get one is happening when I run for president. And then you'll have no stomp down black president. You'll have somebody from the hood. You'll have somebody who knows what's up. Obama, and besides, Obama didn't do nothing black. Obama don't know how to duck back in the alley. How could he? Not only was black, here's the thing. I mean, it'd have been one thing he'd been raised up in New York, right? And he'd had to brush it with South Bronx or Brownsville or East New York or Harlem. But the boy was raised in Hawaii. What? He don't know how to duck back in the alley. He don't know nothing about skelly. He don't know nothing about being black. He's raised in Hawaii. What they know out there in Hawaii about how to be black? He spent the first 18 years of his life smoking reefer and snorting cocaine out there in Hawaii. At least that's what he says in his book that he didn't write. So look how racist black people are. You see what I have to put up with? You see what I'm dealing with up here in Harlem? You see what I'm dealing with? You see how racist they are? They dumped Hillary Clinton, who was the wife of the first show enough stomped down. Bill Clinton is the closest thing we've had to a black president yet. He's blacker than Obama. And everybody knows it. And that's what they were saying in the NAACP. What's that boy's name? That down there in Georgia, he was first, I forget his name now. He was the head of the NAACP at the time. They gave that boy several $1 million. He went before the NAACP and said, we're going to dump Hillary and we're going to choose Obama. But no, they were saying in the NAACP that Bill Clinton was blacker than Obama, and he is. Bill Clinton is blacker than Obama, and he's 10 times the man that Obama is. And boom, shakalaka goes right there, if you know what I mean. Do I have to spell it out for you? All right, you got it. No, no, my friends. So black people are racist. Yeah, that's it. What's this for? What's this boy name? Julian Bond. That's the one. And Julian Bond ain't black. Look at him. But he ain't black either. Somebody gave Julian Bond $4 million. He was the head of the NAACP at the time. He told the NAACP, we're going with Obama, the white boy. Anyway, so you see how racist black people are. You see what I have to put up with about. You see I have to survive this every day because I'm in Harlem. You know that, right? I have to survive this every day. And this racism is just unprecedented. That black people turned on Hillary Clinton like that. And then when she was running against Tribulation Trump, they turned on her again, talking about she's mean Hillary, you know, and one thing after the other. That we ain't gonna vote for her. Well, she was mad with them because what they did to her the first time around with Obama. But I can tell you this, that Kamala Harris ain't black. Obama ain't black. So let's get the record straight. We still have not had a black president, all right? Let's get that straight. But black people are hypocrites. You know, I mean, they are the big, you don't know nobody as big a racist as black people. I mean, and you got black folk on your case as a racist. You got something to deal with. And I have to deal with it every day. I have to deal with the fact that I pointed out, and I pointed out, and I put up on the announcement board, Obama wasn't black and Mama was white, and all the black people turned against me. They still worship, and Obama's still sneaking around here trying to get the black all the resources that Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner and everybody else died for. Obama's reaping the benefits of Emmett Till. Obama is. And he ain't black. And you can't talk to these black people. So I'm saying this, and I'm glad that Luke Campbell went ahead and pointed out that Kamala Harris ain't black. And she knows she ain't black. I mean, because her mama ain't black. And I'm not, you say, you're misogynist, Pastor Manning. I mean, what are you? You don't want to, you're against women and you don't believe interracial marriage. I believe in interracial marriage. I ain't got nothing wrong with interracial marriage. I just figure if you, listen, I don't have any, you want to marry a white woman, they go, knock yourself out, brother. Knock yourself out. Who's that fella that marries all that Tiger Woods? He ain't black either. Tiger Woods, he ain't black. But he marries all these blonde white women. And so, Pastor Man, you sound like you got malice in your voice. You sound like you got some hatred sneaking. No, I'm just being emphatic, that's all. You want to marry a white woman, man, that's your thing. You want to, I can't vouch for what the sisters say about that, because there are a whole lot of sisters out here looking for a husband. Now, you got a law degree, you got some money, got a good job on Wall Street, and you can marry a white woman, right? And then you're going to move off to Scarsdale somewhere and go live on Teddy Bear Lane. Well, I don't know what the black women do. I ain't got nothing to, listen, that's your business, man. I ain't got to sleep with that woman. You can sleep with her. I ain't got to sleep with her. But I want what the sisters think about this. You know, the other thing about Obama is that the reason why, because this Julian Bond boy sold the NAACP for $4 million. And then when Obama tried to sit down in these private settings, at Amy Roof's up here in Harlem. He didn't come up here, that's the only reason I say that. He tried to sit down in Washington with the black leadership group, from the NAACP, for them to get fully behind it, because these people weren't really behind Obama. They knew Obama wasn't black. I wasn't afraid. I just said it. Everybody else said it quietly. I said it publicly. But they knew, and Obama knew he wasn't black, so he tried to get, during the campaign, he tried to get the black supporters, right? But the only person he couldn't, Michael Eric Dyson, who was a professor at Georgetown University, I don't particularly like him, but the boy's black, he knows his black stuff, right? I give him that. Then there's Dr. Cornel West, Dr. West, Dr. West, and then there was this other fellow, Tavis Smiley. These two boys campaigned against that black Obama. Tavis Smiley and Dr. Cornel West, two of the blackest scholars and entertainers in America, campaigned against Obama because he wasn't black. And there was nothing Obama could do. Cornel West knew that Obama lied in that book, Dreams of My Father, saying his first night in New York, he slept on that alleyway on 109th Street when he came to Columbia University. There ain't no alleys in Harlem. There ain't no alleys on 109th Street. Cornel West, the blackest professor, the blackest scholar, son of a Baptist preacher, Cornel and Tavis Smiley, two of the blackest men in America at the time, campaigned against them, called the poor people campaign, because Obama was for Wall Street. And let me tell you this, you would think, if Obama was black and sure enough stomped down black, that he would have reached into Cornel West and Tavis Smiley to be a part of his cabinet. They said, I ain't having nothing to do with you, because you ain't black. Listen to this. Maya Angelou wouldn't go. Maya Angelou was Bill Clinton's girl. She didn't go nowhere near Obama. The only person of note that half white, half baked boy called Obama could get from the black world to support him was that snitch Al Sharpton. That's just how that is. And I say, don't like it. Pastor Manny, you're preaching hate. You're full of racism and one thing after the other. That's not my intent. But if that's what you feel, then feel good and dance to it. The only person that will come anywhere near Obama, even after he stole the presidency from Hillary Clinton, the only person that will come near him was that snitch Al Sharpton. That's the only one. Number CI7 of the FBI. Al Sharpton's own record, his fingerprints and his file is down there in Washington in the Federal Bureau of Investigation, right near J. Edgar Hoover's grave. Al Sharpton's file is down there as number CI7. Snitch, drug dealer, heroin hustler in Harlem. Al Sharpton. That's the only person that would say, okay, Obama, I'll stand with you. And Obama made Al Sharpton the biggest Negro in town. Now, Al Sharpton got a television program on MSNBC. Chris Matthews said when Obama came in the room, he felt something running down his leg. I said, maybe he had a bladder accident. Chris Matthews said, I felt something funny running down my legs. I figured, what was it? Must be a bladder. Sometimes you're an old man, and Chris Matthews is old, Maybe he had a bladder incident, and it was running down his leg. I don't know. But it wasn't because Obama was somebody special. No, Kamala Harris ain't black. She ain't. And, the thing I think is important for America is we still have not had a black president. We ain't got no woman president yet. We ain't got no black president yet. I mean, they used to say down in North Carolina that 99.5 won't do. Wilson Pickett said they got to have 100. Obama wasn't black, brothers, Well, Pastor Manny, you're just racist. And, in Plessy versus Ferguson, that, Plessy was a white man, but he had an ounce of black blood in him. If you got 1 ounce of black blood, according to Plessy versus Ferguson, that that you're considered black. Said who? Thurgood Marshall overturned all of that. It was a phony court ruling in the first place. Brought about Jim Crow, had y'all sitting on the back of the airplane. By the way, it's safest back there too. I don't know if y'all know about that. Try to get on the back of the plane. Don't be getting the first class. You'll be the first to die. Anyway, well, Plessy versus Ferguson. Plessy versus Ferguson. What about Brown versus the Board of Education? Separate but equal. No, So we have not had a black president as of yet. So I've been up here and I'm just, why is this important? Well, I'm glad I saw this article about this Luke Campbell boy. But now it says that, but the story of Campbell's about face isn't so simple. It's a window into how Harris is working to ally skepticism, LA skepticism about her among African Americans, particularly black men who worry of her background. Plus, Kamala Harris put more black people in jail out there in California than Rudy Giuliani did up here in New York when she was the state attorney general. That woman she put them in, if they had a thumbnail full of marijuana, she put them in jail. She was climbing up the ladder and she knew the best way to do it was to step on black people. You know, black people smoke dope, can't make bail, running around, ain't got no sense. She put them all in jail. I mean, that woman persecuted. And then when the man was considered to be not guilty on death row, she wouldn't let him off. Kamala Harris. Tulisa Gabbard told her that right there on one of the debates that they had with the Democrat Party. Tulisa Gabbard told her what she did to black. She treated black people like she was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, you would have gotten more mercy from George Wallace when Kamala Harris was Attorney General there in the state of California. And I'm not against, I'm just telling you how racist black people are. And Obama, there was a girl down there in South Carolina talking about Obama gonna pay her gas bill, her cell phone. He did give black people cell phones. He did do that. I'll have to give him that. I said he didn't do anything. Let me take that back. He did give black people free cell phones. You couldn't get the internet on them, but at least you could text, from jail, perhaps, And he raised the food stamp. You can get more food stamp money, right? And but other than that, the only thing he did something was for the gay people, and it changed. But here, this guy Luke Campbell changed his mind, and he's now trying to say, well, maybe I made a mistake. No, you ain't made no mistake, Luke. Go back to your original position, and we need to be clear about this, that Kamala Harris, I don't think she's going to be president anyway. But when we going to run a stomp down black man for president? When we going to run a stomp down man? They ran Alan Keyes, or at least Alan Keyes jumped out there, but he was Republican, and black people don't like Republicans. I don't know if Alan Keyes was stomped down, but he was black. He talked like he was white, though. That boy, God, Lord have mercy. And it talked like he was a computer or something. Talked so fast, you know what he was talking about. His eyes were rolling back and forth. Alan Keyes, y'all remember him? Lord, Elizabeth asked me, what happened to him? I don't know. He just dropped off the scene. Jesse Jackson ran for president in 1984. He did. I told people to vote for Jesse back in 1984. That's before I had this sense. He didn't make it either. Al Sharpton ran a few years later. Al Sharpton. Imagine this, a snitch, right? And on the FBI. So I think it's important that we recognize that we still have not had a black president. So what you black people gonna do? Well, I think that Pastor Manning is against our first black president. Pastor Manning is a racist, and we have come too far in the struggle, and we've had Fannie Lou Hamer, and we've just come too far, and the Lord has sent us a black man to be president. Who did he send? Well, I know that Obama has a white mama, but you have to forgive, and you have to look at the big picture. You have to, all right, okay, let's say, for instance, I'm willing to say, okay, Obama's black because I can't say that because I ain't going to lie to myself now. I ain't going to lie to myself. I ain't going to lie on the Bible. The Bible says you got a white mama, you white. But let's say I still wouldn't say, then that don't make him black. Where do I go from there? You won't leave me no wiggle room. There ain't nowhere to go unless I'm a stomp down racist hypocrite. And, you know, if black lives matter, then don't black women matter? If black lives matter, then you want to have a black president from a black woman. You want her to come from the womb of a black woman. You want her to come out from between. If black lives matter, then white women and white mothers, if black lives matter, then black mothers ought to matter. Let me get that straight. Let me back that up. Let me hack it up. If black lives matter, then black women ought to matter. If you're going to have a black president, then they ought to come out from between the feet of a black woman. If black lives matter, but you're hypocrites. Black lives don't matter. The boy's mama's white. Well, I thought black lives matter. I thought it was blackness that mattered. Black lives don't matter. You're just a bunch of hypocrites trying to raise money. Black lives matter. The boy got a white mama. What about Shirley Chisholm? You know, why couldn't that be? What about Dr. King? And by the way, you know, why didn't Obama call Bernice King, who's a black woman, right? Oh, daughter of Dr. King, probably one of the saintest of King's children, Martin King Jr. Dexter is out there in California as a playboy or something. I don't know what Dexter's doing. Why didn't Obama bring some, at least make, you know, one of the King children something in his case? He didn't make them nothing. You know why? Bernice King can talk better than Obama. Bernice King is black. Dr. King's daughter. He didn't, you know, but I don't think they want to have anything to do with him either. And so here I'll tell you this. I'm going to ahead and tell you because I figure we're friends and I can talk to you and you understand. Here I'm up here in Harlem, right? I got the truth. I'm up here in Harlem with all, well, it used to be all black people. Now it's all gay people, and mainly gay black people and gay white people. But here I'm up in Harlem, right? And I ain't, you know, the whole world turned against me. The gay people attacked me with their newspapers. They attacked me mainly because of Obama. They don't really care nothing about what I said about gay. They know what I say about gay is true, but it's because the fact that I came against Obama. Because Obama, you know, he was a king of gay people. And so I'm up here, I'm trying to make my case here today. So I figure if this rapper, Luke Campbell, maybe some of the young people are listening to me, this is hard for young people to hear, and hard for black people to hear, but when Luke Campbell says it, they got to turn around, and why don't Jay-Z say it? Hell, why don't Beyonce say that come out here saying black? Why don't they say it? They ain't gonna say it, because the Jews that support them, you know, give them all that money. We yank their food stamp card. Next thing you know, Jay-Z be sleeping down on the bar somewhere, and Beyonce be dancing in a strip joint. They fool around and make the Jews mad with them, and everybody knows it. Well, hell, everybody knows it. Luke Campbell knows it too. They all know it. That's where they get that money from. I don't care if they billionaire my foot. You make them Jewish bankers mad with them. You see how quick they be billionaires. Or cutting their record. They ain't getting no record deal. They ain't getting on television. So I guess I'm appealing to y'all. You see what I'm saying? I've been standing tall now for the last 12 years with this Obama thing, right? I'm still here, and praise God, some of y'all stood with me. But I can tell you, you know, a lot of white people dumped me when I came against Tribulation Trump. But if you're gonna understand how to help black folk, you gotta understand they racist. But they crazy racist, right? Uh-oh, this is gonna get me in trouble, because I should have ended this talk 5 minutes ago. Black people are white people worshipers. Somebody told me, I don't know who it was, I forget now. Somebody told me the reason why we ain't never had no black person as president, because black people don't want no show enough stomp down black man. But if you got a white mama, well, hell, that makes you different. You see what I'm saying? And that's why these white people marry, that's why these black people marry all these white women. Of course, I'm not sure who Cornel West is married to. And Al Sharpton probably got white boyfriends. Yeah. So when I deal with black folk, they call me the racist, but I'm not. They're the ones that bow down at the trough over the white man. They're the one that, I mean. So when we're going to have our first black president? All right. I ain't running for no president. Let me take all that back. I said that a few minutes ago. Scratch that. I ain't running for no president. I'm the Lord's servant. I got a higher office than the president. Don't you ever forget it. I'm the Lord's servant. But I think that it's important. I don't know if Luke Campbell, what is it with these rappers anyway? Then you got this Kanye West boy. What is it with him and Trump? What is it with these rappers anyway? You know what I mean? And I don't mean to be ghetto by saying you know what I mean, because I can express myself. That's what ghetto, people say you know what I mean they can't tell you what they mean. They want you to figure it out for themselves. No, I ain't ghetto. But sometimes you have to speak the language of the street. Because y'all go run, spread the word, run, tell it everywhere, run little children and tell it that we ain't had no black president yet. And I'm sick and tired of watching Obama running around here, and everybody talking about Joe Biden. That's another thing. But I ain't got time for that. I got to go. I'm the Lord's servant. I'm James Edwin Manning. I'm the Lord's servant, and hallelujah. And boom shakalaka goes right there, and don't you ever forget it. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.
My name is Maura and I have leukemia. It's a type of cancer that kids get.
It was shocking to hear that she had leukemia. And, at that moment, the whole world just stops.
Every hour, somewhere in the United States, a child like Maura is diagnosed with cancer. For more than 50 years, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital has been fighting to save children's lives. And with a gift of just $19 a month, you can join the fight.
I got sick really bad and, you have to take medicine to beat the cancer.
St. Jude is just dedicated to curing cancer. I just can't say enough about St. Jude. It's an extraordinary place.
Families never receive a bill from St. Jude. In fact, no family pays St. Jude for anything. That's why your gift of $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, is so important.
When we came in, one of the first things they said was, she's going to be okay, we got it. To receive the type of treatment that you receive here with the love, that's unbelievable.
St. Jude freely shares its life-saving research and treatments with hospitals across America and around the world, because St. Jude is where hope begins.
I came to St. Jude to beat cancer, but what I love most is my family, and I want to go back home and be with my family forever.
Please, call and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope right now.
All right, so it appears that Janine Pirro is a commentator on Fox News and a supporter of and promoter of Tribulation Trump has been suspended. I'm not sure exactly what the remarks were that she said that got her suspended above things that she said a year ago, 2 years ago. But now she's lashing out at Fox News. A lot of people say this is a dance, that they just pretend that this ain't for real, that Fox News is not that they're an integral organization. But, you got, and I believe you can have an opinion, columnists. I mean, Janine Pirro, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hand-Me-Down, and that other girl, what's her name, Laura, In My Throat or something. They ought to be able to say what they want to say. If they want to say it, then Fox News won't, and the advertisers are still advertise on their show, then let them say it. Let them knock themselves out. But I think that Fox News is coming under some pressure. And the pressure is this, is that Fox News has also got their internal polling, and they see a whole lot of people in farmland out in Ohio, Nebraska. They see a lot of union people are now deserting Trump, and they are stomped down, ain't gonna vote for Trump. They see a lot of white women that are uncollege educated are leaving Trump, like Ray Charles' wife told him to hit the road, Jack. They what Fox. Let me tell you what's going on. I can tell you because you asked me. I'll tell you because I know. Let me tell you what's happening with Janine Pirro. Let me tell you why Trump is now saying Fox is not up to snuff anymore. Fox realizes that they're losing their audience. It is Trump fatigue. People are watching Trump and they're watching Sean Hannity out there every day selling this buffoon. And this man who's just an embarrassment to the world, talking about this storm Hurricane Dorian is going to hit Alabama. I was sitting there and said, how's it going to get over there to Alabama? How the fuck going to get on there? How the storm going to get into Alabama? Trump talking about, yeah, it's going to, we got to worry about Alabama. What the? So people are tired of watching it out there on the golf course. They've had enough. And Fox News knows that Trump's audience ain't what it used to be, and they also know that their audience is weaker as well. There are a lot of people that you can figure this out because you're pretty smart, right? I know you're smart. Yeah, here's the deal. If the farm workers, the soybean growers, right, all those people out there in Midwest, the corn growers, and Trump has rolled back the ethanol rules, so they can't sell corn. The ethanol plants are closing down, and then the carbon monoxide is going up in the air. These people are not going to vote for Trump. The soybean farmer out in Ohio and Nebraska, I'm getting to Janine Pirro. Why are you rushing me? Hold your horses, homeboy. I'm going to bring up Janine Pirro. I'm going to show you something in just a second. So they're realizing that these people are leaving Trump and they ain't gonna vote for him because China is now buying soybeans from down in Brazil and up there in Canada. And they ain't go 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they may come back to America. But that client is gone for at least for another 10 years. They know that. And they're gonna vote against Trump like he stole something. So Fox News knows this. So they're trying to now they're trying to turn the ship around. And then now they're trying to be a little bit more, reflective. Anyway, they've suspended Janine Pirro. Mr. Engineer, roll that clip with Janine Pirro. She's talking to this guy, Sebastian Gorka, this idiot. Here's this 60-year-old woman, a 68-year-old woman, talking like she's a thug. What's wrong with her anyway? Roll that clip, Mr. Engineer.
Hey, Janine, we're still live. The mics are live on YouTube. We'd love to have you in studio.
Good. Oh, I love it. I would love it. Let's see if they'll let me. Fox reviews everything. They're unbelievable.
Yeah, but you got a window, because you've got a new book. You should have a carve-out, right?
No. They are still saying you cannot do Bill O'Reilly, you cannot do Newsmax, you cannot do... Oh, no.
Well, that's a shame.
You know what? They suspended me, and I'm not going to get fired. I'm worried that suspension was the basis to tee up for anything I do wrong to fire me.
Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do.
Sebastian, you can talk that talk if you want, but Janine knows that the die is cast. That Fox is turning their ship around. They realize that, and not that it would all of a sudden become an ethical journalist organization. That's not the case at all. But they recognize right now which side their bread is buttered on. And Trump is losing. I mean, Trump's real support may be down somewhere around, 20, 25%. There's still people out there that said they like him, and they figure that maybe there's the FBI tapping their phone. So you still got 35 to 40% of people said they'll vote for him, but they lying. They lying. They ain't gonna vote for Trump. Why would they? Trump promised to bring jobs back to the Midwest. He promised to bring manufacturing back. The Lordstown plant closed. The Carrier air conditioner moved down to Mexico. He said he's going to build a wall, make the Mexican pay for it. Now he's making flood victims, and he still ain't built the wall. He's taking money from flood victims. He's locking up babies. You know, they're closing down plants all over Indiana. You know, they said they're going to build a big Raytheon plant up there in Wisconsin. That didn't happen. You know, and rather than factories just slowing down, they're contracting. They're laying off people. Towns are being shut down. The opioid crisis is going crazy. He's trying to sell his golf courses to the State Department, and people look at that and say, "Wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. We ain't that crazy." And so they ain't gonna vote for him. Plus, you know, Scaramucci's out there now saying the man's mental health needs to be examined. My problem is that Scaramucci, somebody should have examined you when you were up there lying for him, and you knew the boy was crazy then, or at least maybe had mental conditions, you know. So what's going on here with this whole business of Fox and we'll see what Brian Kilmeade gonna do and Fox and Friends, because you know, anytime Trump got something he want to say, he tweets or he calls into Fox News. But Fox audience is not as strong as it used to be. It's just they're losing people, and the bottom line is at stake here. And Sean Hand-Me-Down, he's up there ranting and screaming and ranting and raving and going on, and but it ain't helping Trump. You know, and a lot of people think that you know, it won't be long now before, you know, the courts start dropping a bomb on Trump. Trump fired his longtime assistant who sat outside the door. What's that girl's name? Because she got drunk the other night at a party. She was drunk. At least they said she was drunk. I don't know if she's drunk or not. Trump said she was drunk. And she was talking to several journalists off the record, but she said that Trump didn't want to have anything to do with his daughter Tiffany because she was fat. What about that boy here that he got with, what's her face? What's that woman's name? Melania. That boy taller than Jack and the Beanstalk. Have y'all seen it? They've been hiding that boy. He's like 14 years old. He's taller than Wilt Chamberlain. I said, damn. I said, well, excuse me. Well, damn is in the Bible. It is. It's the Bible says, them that believe shall be saved, and them that believe not shall be damned. Damn's in the Bible. This boy is taller than Jack and the Beanstalk. This boy, Trump and Melania, boy, why he get so tall? That's a short, he's short right there, baby. We could live with that. He don't get a chance to say nothing. Nobody knows what it, but the woman that said that one of Trump's assistants got drunk the other night at a party. There she is. I don't know what her name is. You say, Pastor Manny, why didn't you research her name before you came on the air? And I said to you, shut up. Now, she got drunk. She's like that woman, Hope Hicks, right? Trump had all these women around him that was guarding the gate. And she got drunk the other night and said that Trump does not want to be photographed with his daughter Tiffany because she's fat. I ain't seen Tiffany lately. I don't know if she's fat or not. Last time I saw her, she looked pretty skinny to me. I saw her sitting beside Melania, and they were having eyeball fits. I mean, this was, I think, during the convention going back a couple of years ago, before Tribulation Trump became president. They were seated together in the convention center out there in Cleveland. And between a long neck Ivanka, and she got a long neck. That woman got more neck than a giraffe. What's her face? Ivanka. And they were having an eyeball. They were rolling one of the eyeballs at each other. They were having a fit. I said, take the camera off of them. Even as much as I'm against Trump. I thought it was just embarrassing to see them women sitting there catfighting one another like that. They're on the front row catfighting. So, but Jeanine Pirro and Fox News, and I don't know if they're going to fire her or not, but I think her days are numbered. I think the days of Tribulation Trump's numbered. Let me show y'all something, if I can just turn the corner. I want to tell you that Kroger Food Service, Kroger, y'all, these are big stores in the South. These New York people don't know nothing about no Kroger. But it's a supermarket mainly. And they said they're going to stop customers will not openly carry guns in Kroger stores. Let's read the article. Kroger is requesting customers no longer openly carry firearms in their stores, a supermarket, even in states where open carry is legal. The company announced Tuesday evening. The announcement comes just hours after Walmart made a similar announcement. Walmart also said it would end the sales of some firearms and ammunition. Kroger stopped selling guns last year. Kroger, like Walmart, also said it would add to its voice to the growing number of corporations calling for elected officials to pass gun reform laws, such as requiring stronger background checks. Kroger, and I quote, has demonstrated with our actions that we recognize the growing chorus of Americans who are no longer comfortable with the status quo and who are advocating for concrete and common sense gun reforms, end of quote, the company said in a statement the other day. And I said, last time we were together, I said that I think that we ought to stop all gun sales and we ought to buy back all guns or confiscate them. Everybody's got a gun. Anybody who's got a gun, when guns are outlawed, will only be outlaws. So somebody responded and said, well, I thought you said a couple of years ago that you would own guns. How do you know I don't now? I said you would own that you would own guns if the law permitted. I've been around. I went on the other side of the law for a while. If you go over there, if you go stand on the other side of the street of the law and get caught. A lot of people stand over there and don't get caught. You get caught, they won't let you have a gun. I don't know why. So you can't have a gun. Anyway, so somebody said, you said that if you could own a gun, you would own one. I did say that. So I've changed, I very seldom change my mind about anything. I do. I very seldom. Because first, it's too much trouble. Change your mind. Got to put on a new suit. But, there's just too many people dying with guns. And quietly as it kept, a lot of black people died in Chicago. I mean, there were more people dying in Chicago than that died in the Iraq War. Guns, right? And and then these Japheth boys love to shoot up people. And they got 5, 6, 10, 15 different guns in their house. And they said, I don't know. The Beatles had a song some time ago. I don't know if y'all know the Beatles' White Album. Y'all ever listen to the White Album? I said, Pastor man, what you listen to the White Album? You're supposed to be listening to black folks' Beatles. Why you listen to the Beatles' White Album? Why not say, you shut your mouth? Why are you getting in my business? The White Album, and the White Album by the Beatles, y'all remember, not Abbey Road, but the White Album, Bob Jackson. The Beatles had a song that says, happiness is a warm gun, bang, bang, shoot, shoot. Happiness is a warm gun, bang, bang, shoot, shoot. When I feel my finger on your trigger, happiness is a warm gun, bang, bang, shoot, shoot. Y'all don't know the White Album? Where you been? Oh, you too young. Oh. Well, at any rate, check that song out, Happiness is a Warm Gun. Then they got one called Bungalow Bill. He went hunting, and just in case there's an accident, he always brings his mom. I said, Pastor man, you better get into that stuff. You get into that white people stuff. The White Album, that's white people stuff. I say I got to call you to the side. We got to talk on the side, because some things I got to say to you can't be publicly announced. But no, I think that I changed my mind about these guns. There's too many people getting killed. A fellow told me the other day, I don't know how true it is. I said, Pastor man, don't say nothing. That these white people keep killing each other. There won't be none of them to kill. I said, wow, they can't take over the whole world. I said, man, that ain't right. I said, Pastor man, come on now. Come on, don't watch till you get out there. You start telling somebody start listening to you, and they'll tell people that Pastor man, Dr. Manning up there in Harlem, calling for the end of gun sales and the buyback. And Pastor man, some of these people might, because they know you, Pastor man, some of these people like you, Pastor man, and they might throw their guns down. And then white people gonna stop killing one another. Then they're gonna start killing us. Somebody said that to me, right? Pastor man, let these people keep killing one. No, that ain't right. I let them keep killing one another. Well, what about you said about that out there in Chicago when they killed the judgment of the law? The judgment of the law. So let these white people keep killing each other. No, I'm gonna I'm going to do what's right. So Kroger said, y'all ever been to Kroger? Go down south. You see these Kroger stores are everywhere. They got some good food in the Kroger stores too. And then they said they're going to stop selling assault-style weapons, flamethrowers, handguns. I think that's a good thing. I think America needs to be gun-free. You know, there's two things that bother me quite a bit, and I'll tell you because it really ticks me off. There are very few things ticks me off, but these two tick me off. One is gun rights, the other is gay rights. You know what I mean? Which one? I don't know which one gets me more angry, the gay rights or the gun rights. No, I do. I know what gets me angrier. It's the gay rights. These people, they're worse than gun totas, you know? The gay rights. These, you know, and they moved up here in Harlem now. I don't know why they came up here, but I do know they came up because Obama came up here. But they want rights to violate God's word and throw you in prison if you don't agree with the violation of God's word. If you don't agree with, you know, that man would marry man and woman marry woman, if you don't agree with it, they want you to go to jail. And they have been fighting against. I announced the other day we whooped their behind. We whooped the gay off of these gay people. We whooped the alphabets off of these people. We whooped them. They didn't know whether they were Z's or B's. They didn't know. By the time I whooped their behind. So they marched against us. They did. Stood outside our church in the rain. You know, marching around our church talking about we shall overcome man. And what? I whooped the living daylight and wrote articles, newspaper articles, tried to lied on me too. Anyway, so these gun rights and gay rights, I think two things that America needs to get rid of. I do. I am absolutely, both of them, you know, the people who think they have a right to be gay are just as belligerent as the people who think they have a right to bear guns. And you know, y'all ain't gonna like this, and they may even review me on Facebook for this, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. The Parkland High School shooting, the Sandy Hook shooting, and can I say something to y'all? Because I figure we friends. That boy that walked into Sandy Hook and killed them little babies up there with that gun, that flamethrower, the AR-15, that was an awful thing he did and destroyed the lives of those children. But and then they went down there to Parkland High School, and that boy went down there, and the police were scared to go in there. That Parkland High School went down there to Parkland High School in Florida and killed them children down there in Parkland High School. But can I say something to you? When the gay people go into the schools and teach Heather has two mommies, you know, a lot of people run around here talking about, I don't think it's right that my children have to go through drills of a mass shooter drills, knowing where the closets are, where the doors, where the windows are. They have to go through drills because you never know when a mass shooter gonna come to the school. And that ain't why I send my children to school. But can I say this to you? What about the gay people coming in and teaching children, teaching girls to be boys and boys to be girls? I mean, come on, let's talk. Me and you, just. I find both of them repugnant. I find both of them a destruction of innocent lives. When children are too innocent to make up their minds, and you know that you're trying to turn a girl into a boy and a boy into a girl, the same thing is killing them with a gun. That's what I think, and that's what I think is right, as you very well know. And yet these two rights, the gun rights say the boy can walk into school, and the gay rights said the gays can come in there too. It's wrong. It's wrong, everybody. It's just wrong. And we need to come to terms here in America, and we need to. This is an abomination before God. But I suppose that I have to be honest with you. I got to, for full disclosure, I have to be honest with you. I think people are going to keep killing one another with guns. The NRA going to keep on promoting it, and politicians going to keep on until somebody kill them, maybe. And gay people going to keep on promoting gays. Anyway, Mr. Engineer, we have a school here, I'm talking to Miss Engineer, please bring up that statement where I said that children don't get jumped at our school. We don't have that here at Outlaw High School, and we give God the praise, you know. Can I tell y'all something? I'll tell you, this is our announceable board. Isn't that beautiful? That's our announceable board. Look like a church down south someplace, a big old board like that. But it says, the blood of Jesus, Outlaw World Missionary Church, James David Mann is the pastor. It says, Outlaw students don't get jumped or pregnant. Outlaw Church feeds hungry mothers, children, and souls. Where's the hate? Because the gay people try to say that I'm a hate preacher and that there's a hate church. But we put that out there on the announcement board and everybody can walk by and see it. We're not a hate church. And we have defeated the gay mafia. We have. Say, well, Pastor, you shouldn't be bragging about it. Why shouldn't I? It's a victory. Well, Pastor, you know, if you brag about how you beat them and you did beat them and made them shamed, they may come against you again. Well, hell, they come against, we're going to beat them again. I will never be defeated. And we ain't going to never beg bread. Our pantry ain't going to never be out of food. And our young girls and boys in this school ain't going to get jumped. Ain't going to be no fighting, no gang fighting in here. They ain't going to get pregnant up in here either. All them lies they've been telling about us. No, Outlaw Church is a great church. Praise Almighty God. And I'll say this as well, I got to go. God has blessed the students. I'll tell you, these students, I told them the other day, y'all better not ever forget. Don't you ever think that you got into all these schools and got that money because you're so good. God gave you that to slap the taste out the devil's mouth that tried to destroy her. And God wants the devil to know. I'll slap you into the middle of next week. Anyway, I got to go about him. I'm James David Manning. I'm the Lord's servant, and peace out goes right there.
Let's get... You say Jesus is Lord. I got a word in my mouth. I got a word.